All right, let's go. Repost the space, everybody. Bottom right corner. Thank you so much. Let's go. Share the YouTube, like,
He don't talk unless the proof is in the lines. Receipts in the folder, coded truth in these rhymes. Power play chess, moving pawns through the blind. But a diligent denizen sees designs in the signs. They disguise what they hide, he just shows how it's shaped. Every source double check, never roll with the fakes. In this world full of wolves, he's exposing the snakes. Document every whisper, got the quotes and the dates. He don't chase what they post, he investigates where it stems. Paper trails never lie, follows links to the end. Truth is power, it bends, but yet it always defends. What's verified never shakes, even lost in the trend. So when he speaks, it's a lens, not a rumor or a vibe. He cuts through the noise, pulls the proof from the lies. This is for the people trying to see through the disguise. Diligent denizen where the real can survive.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome to a Friday edition of Diligent Spaces on X. Um, Lots to talk about today. A little interesting story with Tulsi Gabbard, and I had some news confirmed, or I got the permission to share the news about Tyler Robinson. The timeline confirmed, arrested on September 11th, approximately around 7 p.m. The Fed slop narratives in the Charlie Kirk assassination case are scrambling to try to make the timeline work. It's crazy. Why would you not try to seek truth instead of trying to enforce something? Why not try to find something? Right? That's the difference, I think, between the one side or the other. Right? I am not espousing a certain narrative. I am seeking to find truth and get to the facts about what really happened. I don't need to tell you what happened. All I need to tell you is what doesn't fit with what they're saying happened. Um, and on that same note, we had Joe Kent resign just seems like a few weeks ago. It was a couple months ago. He was the Homeland Security foreign threat assessment. I forget the specific title right now. And then we had Tulsi Gabbard. She was suspected to be quitting shortly after him. And no, that did not happen. We had it took a little longer. It's under a sad note, though. I mean, her husband has some kind of very rare bone cancer that's requiring her to quit her job, and that's very sad. The timing is weird though, because we had many media on X. Loomer reported it a few months ago. We had some other reporters saying that as well. That sources within the White House were saying that she was going to quit within the next month or two. So that was accurate. My question is, if this is a bombshell, just happened diagnosis of some rare bone cancer, which I am not, I am not dismissing, right? How long have they known it? That's the question here. It's like, you know, how long have they been sitting on this before they decided to have her go? The post I made about this earlier, if you go check my profile, the post that I made about this earlier, it was a clip of her 2 months ago going in front of Congress and telling Congress that the culmination, the intelligence community, that is the CIA, DHS, NSI, all of the national security agencies, all of the intelligence agencies, the military intelligence agencies, all of that runs to it all aggregates at the director of national intelligence. That's her job. She takes all of the intelligence reporting from all of these various agencies. She consolidates them into a threat assessment, and then she gives them to the president so he can make decisions. So part of that assessment, part of that reporting, the culmination of the intelligence reporting 2 months ago was that Iran did not have nukes. Not only did Iran not have nukes, they weren't developing nukes. They weren't seeking to develop nukes. According to Tulsi Gabbard, and I'll play the clip in a minute. According to Tulsi Gabbard, they were not still seeking nukes, right? According to her, last summer, Operation Midnight Hammer destroyed the nuclear armaments or nuclear development capabilities of that country, and that afterwards they were not seeking to redevelop or continue development of nuclear weapons. So their nuclear weapons program had been obliterated, according to Tulsi Gabbard. Now, Trump's justification for the Iran war was nuclear weapons, right? That's what Israel is supposedly worried about. That's what Benjamin Netanyahu is supposedly worried about, and that is what Trump has been saying. So whenever you're arguing with people on the timeline, look, we don't want to be at war with Iran. We don't want to be at war with anybody, and they're saying this is Israel's war. Well, we can't let them have nuclear weapons. That's what Trump keeps saying when he gets asked. We can't let them have nuclear weapons. We can't let them have nuclear weapons. Well, according to Tulsi Gabbard and the intelligence community collectively, they don't have nuclear weapons, right? And they weren't seeking to create nuclear weapons. You did an operation last year that obliterated their ability. The bunker buster 10,000, as my good friend Hitslap likes to say, that I drop on my adversaries uh, symbolically, right? Whenever they come at me with some BS, he says I drop the bunker buster on them. And so Trump last summer dropped the bunker buster on them, completely obliterated their nuclear weapons program, right? And now that obliterated nuclear weapons program is being used as an excuse for us to be at another war in the Middle East, right? Now, do we have boots on the ground? Not that I'm aware of, but we don't know. We're close, right? There's a lot of people over there. And we have a lot. All of our ships are over there. The Strait of Hormuz is costing everybody money. Every time you go pay $5, $6, $7 a gallon for gas, right? And the inflation goes up on your food, which is up as high as hell right now, right? You are paying for that war every time. It's a tax. Inflation is a tax. We are being taxed for this war, and things are already not good here economically. We were already on the tip of we were experiencing some stagflation. We are already on the tip of a complete global recession, right? We were already on the tip of a recession as it is. They've been cooking numbers on jobs and GDP and everything they could to make it look like we're doing good. We're not doing good, right? And so they're adding insult to injury here economically, and it's costing you. It's not just costing you that, though, right? It's costing soldiers their lives. American citizens, sons and daughters are dying over in that war, have died. And on top of that, it's creating more radicals. You know when we have open borders whenever the last president was in, right? And they were talking about all these Islamic states that were coming over here that were mad, right? What do you think happens when you go bomb the shit out of a whole country? You think that its citizens are going to love you for generations when you're killing their sons and fathers? No. No. And their wives and their daughters and their sisters, schools, whatever. You're creating generational radicalism of hatred, and they're going to seek to come back and get you back. This is not a war. This is not America's war, period, right? We didn't vote for war. It's not a popular war, right? Nobody wants this war. The reason why I'm talking about that is because Tulsi Gabbard has been extremely critical of a pro-war agenda. She is for her entire most of her career, at least as far as I know, back into the 2013s, radically opposed to bombing Syria, strikes in Syria. That was under Obama, and she was a Democrat, right? She's not a pro-war person, and she was serving under Trump, who has become a war hawk, apparently, right? Venezuela, Cuba, Colombia, Syria, Iran, fucking was it Nigeria or something? South Africa, right? Anywhere. And if you look at the places where they're striking, it's the Islamic State. This is a religious war. Now I'm going to get into that tomorrow. I'm not going to get into that today, but there is a war against Islam, right, or radical Islam, as they say it, right, which is, if they're over here bombing us and shit, and we have to wipe them out, like ISIS or whatever, it has its own backstory with us, right? We have a habit of creating our own enemies. Um, I would see it, but that hasn't been happening, right? That hasn't been happening. So I just, man, I think Tulsi Gabbard, I think there is a lot more to her resignation than meets the eye, right? I watched her come out and feed Fed slop narrative bullshit about Russiagate and about Epstein files. I watched her dodge questions about Epstein being an intelligence, right? And so, yeah, there's a lot to unpack there. What's up, Maze? What's up, Harmony? Are you there? Can you hear me? How you doing, ladies?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Good to be here.
Hi, Harmony.
Hi.
Hi.
Yes, I can hear you. And I am glad to be here too. Guys, repost the space, okay? Dilly's cooking, you know what I'm saying? Sprinkling seasonings all over everything. I will say that I am absolutely in agreement with you. I don't know about what's going on with her personal family. That might be true too. So everyone send prayers for her and her family if that is. I don't think she'd lie about that, but why she's stepping down might be true. I mean, but why okay,
We got
I'm
echo.
just echoing.
Echo,
Yeah,
apologies.
that's you, Dilly. It's you. But the other reasons I think are definitely a part of it. I could just see the uncomfortable position that she felt like she was put in during the last committee hearing. Did you guys see that? I was just like, wow, like you could just see that she didn't feel confident to be able, like, she's still loyal. So but you could, I don't know, I'm just energy person, so that might be woo woo, but I felt it, right? But yeah, this is going to be an epic space. I look forward to it. Repost the space, guys, please, and put it in your DM groups. And
I see the foreigner spaces are going. It says Iran attack underway. Is there an attack?
the foreigner spaces, I don't even, okay, anyway, whatever.
As an
So
American, they're both foreigners.
I know, I mean, I think their spaces are great and informative. Just let me
Did
throw
I
that
say
out
the
there. And
bad foreigner spaces? I said foreigners.
huh? Well,
I
let me
did.
answer your question. So
Is the
there
echo
what
gone?
yes,
Yeah,
that goes.
no, echo's fine. It's gone.
Okay, thank you.
So apparently there was some jamming that happened with UAE's air, I guess their air communication, or what is it, air defense? Anyway, there was, and then what I found out is that Trump decided to not go to his own son's wedding. Said he's headed straight to Washington D.C. because he thinks it's important for him to be at the White House during this time. And so there was supposed to be, Iran had published something about them getting ready to retaliate based on information they got that the United States is about to do. And it turns out that the information that they got was because Israel said that the United States is going to preemptively attack Iran. Now, the only thing we don't know is if the United States really said that. So that's where we're at. But let me see if any updates have come in. That was about an hour ago when I last checked.
All right. Make sure you guys follow my boy Hit Slap. Thank you for letting me know about the echo. We'll go to the hands real quick, and then I will have Grok help us update as well. Go ahead, Nutty.
Hi guys. I think Tulsi knows that. Um, I think when Israel said that U.S. is going to attack, I think Israel and U.S. going to attack with something big. I don't think it's going to be a little war, and I think that's why Tulsi stepped down. That's the thing I could think about, because usually when people have conscience, they don't want to be part of something big. I'm thinking Hiroshima, but maybe I'm wrong.
Hi, Nettie. That's
I mean,
scary.
that's pretty extreme, right?
Well, you guys remember they wanted to do a new canal by using nuclear Israel. Do you guys remember that? I forgot what it's called, but they wanted to build their own canal away from the
Hi,
Suez Canal.
Mick.
Yeah, and they wanted to use the nuclear. So I'm thinking, are they still going to do that, but they're going to start with Iran?
If they just if they did a nuclear bomb right now, I think you would see a mass revolt in the streets of America. I don't think there's not enough support for this war for them to do that. Like that would not be good. I think you would see a massive um that's a massive escalation, right? That's a huge escalation. You might see regional partners or other superpowers start to intervene at that point. Like that's huge. That's huge.
Actually, now that you said that, Dilly, this is something recent that came about, which is based on something that Trump put in his post, where he said an entire civilization's going to die. You remember that old post, right? It was the
I do.
recent conflict, but so now, but the UA, the not UAE, the EU is pressuring Trump to respond to their request for more information. They want to know that when he said that, was he intending on using a nuclear weapon? And and so they have made a formal request to get all the information. I'm gonna check in on that too. I haven't seen that was like 2 days ago. Let me see if anything came out of that.
Grok, do a web scan and tell us the latest with Iran. Are we looking at a war? Shit.
Iran just cleared their air.
Hold
We're
on,
not
hold
at
on, hold
full
on,
war
Nadita.
right
Please
now.
don't speak. Grok, reassess.
Got it. I'm quiet.
Grok, give us the latest update with Iran tensions. Are we going to be in a war with them? What's going on with that?
We're on day 83 of the Iran war that kicked off back in late February. There's a fragile ceasefire in place, but it's hanging by a thread. Talks mediated by Pakistan are ongoing over the Strait of Hormuz and Iran's nuclear program. Trump says diplomacy has a few more days, but he's ready to strike hard if no deal lands. Full-scale war with the US? Not right this second, but one wrong move and it reignites fast.
And why is everybody there's what's the latest buzz? It seems like Iran is preparing for something. What's the latest buzz on X?
On X right now, the buzz is all about Iran's military ramping up. IRGC's warning they're ready to hit new targets and expand the fight way beyond the region if the US or Israel strike again. A lot of chatter about them prepping new and unprecedented responses, with people saying the regime's using the ceasefire to rebuild strength. Tensions are high, but talks are still moving too.
Go ahead. Nutty, don't put stuff in my Jumbotron. That's a no-go. Go ahead, Mace.
Okay, so this is breaking news. The President Trump's daughter Ivanka was targeted in an assassination plot. This is according to New York Post. Also, this is breaking that the Iranian military announced that it's entered its highest state of alert. And trying to figure out the intelligence behind that. I will get back to you in just a
So
second.
who told you that there was an assassination attempt on Trump's daughter?
New York Post is the source of it.
Grok, elaborate on that.
I caught it on X just now. A breaking New York Post story says federal agents recently nabbed an Iraqi guy named Mohammed al-Sadi, tied to Iran's IRGC. He allegedly plotted to assassinate Ivanka Trump as revenge for Soleimani's death, even had blueprints of her Florida home. That's where the buzz is coming from.
Grok, I want you to do a web scan for when that happens, and I want you to look for primary evidence to support that. I want all of the details.
Or you could just talk to an advisor that's been in the situation room while you.
The New York Post broke the story yesterday, May 22nd. Primary evidence comes from federal court documents and sources close to the case. Mohammed Bakr Saad Dawood al-Saadi, a 32-year-old Iraqi tied to Kataib Hezbollah and Iran's IRGC, was arrested in Turkey on May 15th and extradited here. He's now in solitary in Brooklyn, facing terrorism charges for directing nearly 20 attacks across Europe and the US. The Ivanka part. Sources told the Post he pledged to kill her as revenge for Soleimani's death, saying things like, "We need to kill Ivanka to burn down the House of Trump." He reportedly had a blueprint of her Florida home and posted a map of her enclave on X with an Arabic threat saying neither palaces nor Secret Service would protect them. Revenge is coming. The official DOJ complaint charges him with material support to terrorists and plotting bombings, murders of Americans, but doesn't name Ivanka specifically in the public filing. The Post's reporting relies on named and unnamed sources confirming the specific threat.
So quote unquote tied to Iran from Iraq. He was in Turkey. Why are they acting like it's here? What the hell is going on here? Is this an FF? FF? Anybody know what that means? What does FF stand for, Maze?
I don't
False
know.
flag. That's what you're
Oh.
asking. He's an Iraqi national, arrested in Turkey, not on U.S. soil. The plot was aimed at Americans here, including the Ivanka threat, and he's tied to Kataib Hezbollah, which is an Iranian
the
proxy
complaint
group that
doesn't
actually
name
fights
Ivanka.
inside Iraq. You're right. The complaint does name her. It quotes a long, vulgar Snapchat rant from April, where he directly threatens Trump and calls out
A
Ivanka by name,
Snapchat
calling
rant
her a
from April. Okay. Hold on. So we're on the edge of breaking the ceasefire because some Iraqi over in Turkey talks some shit on Snapchat, and they're acting like it just happened. He's over here. He was about to go in. I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't take threats seriously, but I think context is important here. It's not like he was here and about to carry. It's not like he got close, right? Like apparently he was planning on it. Is this justification to reignite the war? Maze, what do you think?
I absolutely think that I've already said this before, but maybe not to your audience. But I think that they're definitely going to try to find ways to make this more personal to Americans, and to make this more accepted domestically as a national security threat, so that they can still pursue their goals. And so, I would agree with you.
Yeah, it sounds like bullshit. Go ahead, SMG, and then Miss America.
Thanks, sir. I just think we need to move on from Trump. He wasn't what he said he was, and he's gone back to his old things, like where he wouldn't pay any of the contractors from his casino. I mean, it's Trump steaks, even The Apprentice. I mean,
We're talking about Iran, like Iran and
no, I'm coming back to that.
Yeah, come back to it now, though. I don't want to. This isn't like a Trump,
Okay.
TDS session.
No, all right. So, yeah, we're losing the war. They tried to shut off Karg Island, but now Iran's throwing oil into pits, which is not a bad idea. So the Karg Island embargo won't work. I just think that that this was he really made a big mistake starting this war, and then okay, so I think one of the things he was trying to do was to cut off China's oil. So I won't fault him for making this so awful. But I will say I think he's maybe failed. So I don't know. I mean, I'd like to know what you guys think, because I'm really upset about this. So we'll see. And then he's gone back on a lot of his other promises lately. So we'll see. All right, I'll stop complaining. Go ahead.
Thank you, SMG. Go ahead, Miss America.
Hello again. Happy Friday, everybody. So I was originally going to discuss Tulsi Gabbard, but now that we're
That's fine.
talking
You can
about the
talk about
war,
Tulsi. It's related.
um, I felt like Tulsi was kind of, when she first joined the Trump coalition, she was very mild tempered, and I thought that she would have been like the calm in the storm of, if anything were to happen, she would have been that calm person. And I think at this point she has done the right thing, and and two things can be true at the same time. Her husband could be dealing with a life-threatening situation, and if he is, I pray that everything goes well for her and her family. But the fact that the administration has taken a different turn than what I think she signed up for. She's realizing that all of the chickens may be coming home to roost sooner rather than later, and she's trying to get out now. And she is trying to save face. She needs, and honestly, I just think that at this point, you can't fault her because right now, Trump wants everyone around him to be yes men. He doesn't want any dissent. He doesn't want anyone who doesn't agree with him. And she is one of those voices based off of the Iran situation, would have been the one to say, hey, you know what? You messed up. Um, and she can't say that and, continue to lie for this administration. That is, and as someone who's been in the army, that is not something that army people do. So I commend her for leaving right now. And for the Iran war, I think that Trump is looking for another 9/11 at this point. And that is the only way that he is going to make the Iran war something like we could all get behind. Because everyone was so America first after 9/11. I think that he's looking for something to that effect, to make it emotional for us, to say, oh my God, look at what they did, look at what they did. And when you look at it, we're sponsoring a lot of these terrorist states, a lot of these, terrorists that we're saying, oh, these are the enemies, but we're funding them. So it's just like, I don't know. I'm so confused by everything that's going on in this world today. But all I could say is our military that is docked in the region, they don't have food. They are posting pictures of the amount
I
of
don't. I
food
don't
that
know
they
that's
have.
true. I don't know that's true. I don't want to.
I
It's not.
mean, I've seen a lot of
I know
pictures
people who
being,
serve. They're not starving over there. I can tell you that much.
and you've spoken to them that and they're okay on the boat.
They're not starving.
All right. Well, I'm just telling you what I have seen. And you can't fight a war when the morale of the troops is not up there. So yeah, I'll land my plane here. But
If we're gonna make claims about things that are going on, I'll make sure that we substantiate them with some kind of receipts or evidence.
can you ask Rock?
Sure. Grok, is it true that the troops are starving over there? The U.S. troops are starving in the Middle East? Cite your sources.
No, it's not true that U.S. troops are starving in the Middle East. In April, families shared photos of small, unappetizing meals from ships like the USS Abraham Lincoln and USS Tripoli, sparking reports of rationing and low morale, especially with meals suspended so care packages couldn't get through. The Navy pushed back hard. The Chief of Naval Operations said sailors aren't going hungry, nutritional needs are being met, and ships have 10 to 30 plus days of food stocked. They called the photos misleading. Some weren't even from ships, and people often just grab one item. Your friends on the ground are probably right. It's bad food and stretched logistics, not actual starvation. The viral
Yeah, it's propaganda. I mean, I'm just being objective. They got MREs. They don't starve. They get nutritional. Is it great food? Are they eating like home cooked meals? No, right? But they're not they're not starving. I can tell you that much. That's just
Well,
bullshit.
I apologize. Thank you for fact checking and making sure that I'm not saying anything that I shouldn't be saying on the space, because
It's
that's
not
the
that you
last
shouldn't
thing.
be saying it. I just want to make sure that we're feeding.
Yeah.
Look, I'm against the war, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
not going to lie just to suit some kind of
Exactly.
agenda.
Mm-hmm. But overall, God knows what happened. So what's gonna happen, with this war. But I think Tulsi, she read the room, and she's like, you know what? I just want to be in Hawaii with my husband, and that's it. So I'm hoping that everything goes well for her and her family at this point.
Thank you, Miss America. Grok, I want to ask you, what is Tulsi's stated position on Middle East intervention been since the early 2010s up till now?
She's been consistently against U.S. regime change wars in the Middle East since the early 2010s. She supported fighting ISIS and Al Qaeda, but called interventions in Syria, Libya, and Iraq counterproductive. They strengthened terrorists and boosted Iran's influence. She sponsored bills to stop the effort to overthrow Assad, met with him in 2017, and slammed strikes on Syria as reckless. On Iran, she backed the nuclear deal, opposed pulling out of it, and called the Soleimani strike an illegal act of war that risked a wider conflict worse than Iraq or Afghanistan. Her line was always hawk on terrorists, dove on regime change. As DNI, she's walked a tighter rope, testifying on threats while stressing U.S. and Israeli goals in the current Iran conflict aren't identical. But the core view held for over a decade: stay out of wars aimed at toppling governments.
Yeah, and then what was Tulsi Gabbard's reporting as far as the threat to the United States from Iran 2 months ago when she testified in front of Congress?
In her March testimony, Tulsi Gabbard told Congress that Iran's nuclear program had been obliterated by previous strikes, with no efforts to rebuild it. She described the Iranian regime as intact but largely degraded, and refused to confirm whether Iran posed an imminent threat to the U.S., saying only the president gets to make that call.
So she described that there wasn't a threat, but she refused to assert it herself because she didn't want to take responsibility. Um, Mays, do you think there's something up with the timing of her resignation, the posturing that appears to be occurring? What do you think about the bone cancer diagnosis, and what do you think about the reporting, 2 months ago that she was going to resign anyways? Like, isn't that a little weird? Obviously, if I had to guess, one of my subscribers sent this to me earlier. They said DC probably knew about her husband's bone cancer months ago, which is how the media here on X knew about it, right? And so they've probably known this resignation was coming for a month or two. Do you agree with that, Mace?
What's crazy is that the White House or the administration apparently forced her to post it. Like she just submitted it to him or to the administration or whatever. And they asked her, shouldn't say forced, but even though the post that I saw, who was it? I think I bookmarked it, said that they forced her to post it. So there's an interesting element there where they obviously wanted the public to view this as some sort of like, personal issue. Because of obviously the conclusions that we would draw from it otherwise. So, I mean, I don't know. I think because it's something like a rare bone cancer, I can see why somebody would, as a woman, as a wife, I would do the same thing. I don't care whether I agree with what the administration's doing or not. So I can see that, but at the same time, I do agree there could be something suspicious around the timing and the way that it was um, like released for the public. And I watched that entire hearing, by the way. Prior to that, she'd said um, that she disagreed about, because according to the JCPOA, according to all of the different regulatory agencies, it was their assessment that Iran was not an imminent threat. They had not been violating the whatever agreement that they had. And then Trump said something like really nasty, like he basically was, when asked about it by a reporter, he was like, I don't care what Tulsi Gabbard says. And then later during the committee
I
hearing,
remember that.
yeah, it was all of a sudden she was like, only the president can determine that, but he's going to determine that based on the intelligence, right? So it's like, what? Anyway, but yeah, you could tell she was incredibly uncomfortable when she was asked those questions.
Well, I mean, it's pretty much this is what's going to happen, uh, right? Like that's been the policy is like this is what we're doing, irregardless of what the intelligence or the information says. This is the policy, which is alarming, right? Like it's not how our country was. We're not supposed to be at war without the consent of the governed, right? So, which means that Congress has to approve an official declaration of war on another country, and the president has a 60-day window to which to operate in, um, before he has to have Congress justify it. And so, what they often do is they will garner support at home, right, from us using media, propaganda, etc. And then we'll demand people demand their or their representatives to support a war, and then they get it approved, right? Like I'm thinking of Bush, right? We had 9/11, everybody was up in arms. We got to save ourselves. Everybody's a terrorist, right? And so
Did you know that they have not declared war since World War II at all? All of those were military operations.
there was an official war declared in the under Bush. There was an official war declared. They approved it.
Are you sure? Because
I'm 100% sure. It's
okay.
an authorization. It was an authorization.
Right, there was an authorization, but there still hasn't been a declaration of war since World War II.
Okay, so it wasn't a formal declaration. I mean, I feel like we're in semantics at that point, right? Like it's
I'm
Well, I
confused.
think, but I think that there is a difference. Maybe we should ask Grok because I was going to
MF is
Grok it.
basically Congress saying, we'll let you handle it. It's a shortcut that gives presidents way more flexibility and less accountability, and that's exactly why they've used them for the last 80 years.
Grok. Tell us the difference between the AUMF and official declaration and why it applies to today.
A declaration of war is a formal, constitutionally clear act. Congress explicitly declares war on another nation. It's only happened 11 times in U.S. history, last in World War II. An AUMF, authorization for use of military force, is different. It's Congress giving the president permission to use military force without actually declaring war. It's more open ended, often limited only by broad goals like against those responsible for 9/11 or against Iraq. Today it matters because nearly all U.S. military actions since 9/11 have run on AUMFs instead of declarations. They give presidents wide latitude with less congressional oversight, which is exactly why they've become the go-to tool.
Do you think that Tulsi's moving out? So I think it's going to be very telling if they replace who they replace her with, right? I want Maine to come up here because I want him to speak on the replacement part of it. Grok, is there any buzz around who's going to replace Tulsi? Scan X.
Yeah, the buzz on X and in the news today is that Aaron Lucas, her principal deputy, is stepping in as acting DNI when she leaves on June 30th. Trump already announced it. On a permanent replacement, the early chatter is pointing to Elise Stefanik. Senator Jim Banks and Mark Levin are pushing her hard, saying she'd sail through confirmation. Some folks on X are already side-eyeing that pick, though. No final name yet, but who they land on will definitely signal the direction they're taking.
Elise
Mark
Stefanik.
Levin.
Yeah, I know. If Mark Levin's for her,
Yeah,
I'm
she's the
against
one
her.
getting the most early buzz for.
If they let Mark Levin pick the replacement, can it get any more? You will see so much backlash. Grok, tell us about the acting DNI director secretary. What's his history about? What's his background? Is he a Zionist?
He's a career intelligence guy. Over 20 years at the CIA as an analyst and clandestine operations officer. Former chief of station, did time at the National Security Council on Europe and Russia during Trump's first term, and served as chief of staff at ODNI before. On whether he's a Zionist, there's no public record of him being particularly vocal on Israel or Iran. He's a professional intel guy, not a political ideologue, like some of the names being floated for permanent replacement. The real question is whether his views line up more with the current direction or with Tulsi's restraint. We don't have a clear public paper trail on that yet.
You know anything about this guy, man?
Yeah, he's to say he's not a political animal is a little loose, but so a few things. So Federal Vacancies Act, he can hold this position for 210 days maximum. Another name that's out there to replace Gabbard is Devin Nunes, former congressman, left to run Trump's social
I
media,
heard that
whatever.
name get dropped today.
Yeah, he was also, and the reason why he's in there because when he was in Congress, he was the chair of the Permanent House Select Committee on Intelligence. So he definitely has the prerequisite. Now, if you don't understand what ODNI is, because it is a little convoluted, first, anybody that's nominated for the position, not handed to it in the acting stage, but if you're nominated, you have to be confirmed by the Senate. So anybody's going to have to go through the confirmation process, which is why you have the 210-day maximum for the acting. I don't know if
They can
maybe
get extensions, right?
they can, but 210 days is a pretty long time. And for those keeping count, that's well past the midterms, right? So Nunes is interesting. Stefanik is interesting, but that's more so coming from the place where she might be owed that based on how she's kind of like was appointed to the UN, then withdrawn, then was running for governor, then she wasn't going anywhere, and then she went back to Congress, right? Like that's interesting. But I would watch Mike Waltz here because he's over at the UN already. I could see that kind of smooth move over to ODNI. ODNI is basically a clearinghouse, right? It's basically the routing point for the nation's intelligence communities. It's basically a giant mailbox. Is the best way I can do it. The best way I can describe it, right? Because you have all the different defense intelligence agencies, interspatial, CIA, DIA, so on and so forth, Navy intelligence, all this kind of stuff. And the clearinghouse, the person that puts it all together, and I'm being very layman here on purpose, is ODNI. So the topic of the day is really why now, and what really led to this. So the cover stories out there about her husband being sick. This is not a secret. Anybody that's been in the know here has known that her husband's been sick for a while. Two,
How long?
it's been several months as far as
That's
from
what I
what I
thought.
understand. Yeah. So since the start of this war in Iran, there have been numerous articles all over the journalism space, whether it's mainstream print media, New York Times, Washington Post, whether it's blogosphere stuff, whether it's leaks to independent journalists like Klippenstein, whoever. A lot of these articles have been citing U.S. intelligence sources. And these articles have been countering to the narrative that's being sold to the American public and the world out of the Trump administration about what's going on in Iran. That we're winning, that we have all these munitions, the bomb that hit the school was not American, but we're investigating, so on and so forth. Tons of articles. And then you had Tulsi Gabbard basically pushed aside and then sent down to Georgia to go investigate elections, which is fascinating. And then you had a raid on her office about what, 2 weeks ago, I think that was. And the cover story there was about
And then the
UFOs.
CIA came out, or it came out the CIA's been bugging her, like
Mhm.
watching her like a hawk.
My now, I don't know nothing from nothing, but I've been saying this for a while that there is a hero inside the intelligence community that is wanting to get the truth out there and trying to create separation from the United States intelligence community and the White House. Because for the last 47 years, the intelligence on any kind of elongated conflict, hot war with Iran, would lead to the precise end game that we're seeing right now, which is a giant stalemate with the Strait of Hormuz closed, the U.S. using
I
a lot
believe
of
we all
munitions.
predicted this
Mhm.
2 months ago.
But at the same time, this is how it's been gamed up for 50 years. There was no going about this. And then I came in and somebody was mentioning that the president's going to make decisions based off intelligence. That's not precisely what's happened here. I would argue that the president of the United States ignored American intelligence because there's 50 years of this and plenty of presidents, Democrat and Republican, that have not gone this far with Iran to get into a hot war. We were essentially, for the last 47 years with Iran, in a Cold War status. We never were in open conflict with each other, one on one, mano a mano. We were using proxies, cyber war, counter-terror, surveillance,
Sanctioned
things
the
like
shit
that.
out of them.
Sanctions, economic warfare, propaganda, so on and so forth. So, in the U.S. intelligence assessment before this war, you can go back and look all this stuff, that Iran was not pursuing nuclear weapons. They were not a direct and immediate threat to the United States, right? And even the president's own people inside the administration, including Marco Rubio, in those first few nights, were even caught on hot mics saying that we were not doing this out of our interest, but we were more worried, and I'm paraphrasing, more worried that Israel was going to get hit, and that retaliation from that was going to be against United States forces. So, my assumption, and this is just my read on it early on here, is that Gabbard was fired because she is that person. Either she is the person behind the scenes trying to protect the United States intelligence community, or she is directing these types of efforts to talk to the press to get the true story out. The United States intelligence community has been through this before, where they are scapegoated, where they are thrown under the bus by an administration after a planned war or effort or excursion or adventure goes awry. Right when I'm 39, we were sold a bale of goods on the
Yeah, it doesn't feel
Iraq
like
War.
it doesn't feel to you like the intelligence community wants this war too. You don't get
Uh,
that vibe from the
no,
propaganda and the
it's,
media coverage and just all of the various tentacles that we see
mm,
out there.
I don't necessarily subscribe to that, and I'll tell you why. I think we've seen enough people leave this administration from the national security sector to show that that's not
I
true.
saw that post that had the list. It's quite a
The list
number.
is very
But those
interesting.
are all just figureheads. They're just relays of, they're the
Well,
mouthpieces.
they're the mouthpieces, and but at the same time, they carry the most weight, right? The people downriver, the people that are career clandestine people, they are going to do their job, right? They're not political in nature. They're not going to do that sort of thing because, by the way, this is what's the main
I
difference.
disagree that they're not political in nature,
Here
but
is the
continue.
difference. The difference between the U.S. intelligence community and the military, in this particular case, is United States intelligence services will never, ever go public with disdain without falling on a sword, right? They know that's the end. They know it's over. Like Joe Ken is done, right? Any of these people that leave the intelligence community, this type of thing, they're finished, and they typically don't get high praise when things go well. I used to always compare them to kickers in football, right? Right. But just the opposite, right? Where they don't get enough praise because they don't publicize what they've worked on and things like that. Compared to the guy who killed Bin Laden, right? Gets a lot of praise, except he was part of an entire team, right? So I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that the people at the top of the intelligence communities wanted this war. It's been the same intelligence for 50 years, and here we are with a munition stockpile that,
But they've been active in Venezuela. They've been
well, you
active in
can't compare.
Lebanon. They've
You
been
can't.
active. They did a small scale operation in Iran, if you don't remember,
You
right?
cannot. You cannot compare two different wars and two different military operations in different corners of the earth. They're two totally different missions. And yes, but here's the thing: when the president of the United States gives an order, right, you follow the order, right? That's how this works, right? There's not going to be mutiny anywhere, right? You're not going to see that. You may see people resign, which we've already seen. We just talked about it, and that may happen. There are people that have been fired, right? You saw Admiral Halsey in the Caribbean, African American Navy guy who was in charge of the operation to blow up all the quote unquote drug boats. He was fired, right? You've seen Hegseth basically clean house since he's been in there for people that aren't quote unquote following the lay of the land or following direct orders or don't align 100% with the missions here. So I think you're seeing that, and I think the intelligence community under Tulsi Gabbard, and I'm no Tulsi Gabbard simp. I think she's all. I think I've said this since the beginning. I think she is one of the worst picks this administration put out there in a laundry list of terrible ones. She's near the very, very top with Hegseth, of course, taking the
She
cake.
was one of the unity picks to get us across the finish line.
Yeah, and she's and
She's the
wholly unqualified.
RFK of the War Department.
Yeah, I honestly believe that she is has been talking to the press. And I believe at some time, and again, I don't know nothing from nothing, but I am here to tell you, at some point there will be conversations about Tulsi Gabbard testifying under oath to Congress, whether it's to the House or Senate Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence or its Armed Services. That will occur. And if this war, it's all pointing to, the president not going to his son's wedding, which is a whole other topic. But there is, now a lot of chatter that we're going to restart strikes tonight. And if we re-engage now in open military conflict, it would not surprise me if you see Tulsi Gabbard at some point under oath to talk about what she knows. Now, there'll be two hearings. There'll be one behind closed doors that none of us will ever hear about, especially with the intelligence community. And then there will be one out in the public. But that's really the rundown. And I heard you guys were talking about AUMF versus declaration. Yeah, declaration of war is an arcane idea of the way war works in this country now. It's more of a business than anything. And in America now, presidents, any president, Democrat, Republican, whatever, will all tell you the same thing, that the War Powers Resolution is unconstitutional. I might not agree with that, but every president will tell you that. Now, there are presidents that'll totally ignore it. And then there are presidents that will go to Congress. I remind you, George W. Bush went to Congress to get authorization to go to Iraq. That's how you got the AUMF to go do that. And he got it. Now, based on horseshit intelligence, which we found out later, which was all fabricated or
Sounds similar to
misunderstood.
what we're dealing with today.
Right. And then, of course, as you get into the Obama administration, a lot of the Obama foreign policy ops were done with the AUMF in mind, and were even cited as an AUMF. And there were also times when they tried to go through Congress to get an AUMF after the fact as well. And he actually got a lot of pushback from his own party on stuff like this. So you won't really see a declaration of war anymore because war is quite different now. The idea of the U.S. getting into direct open conflict with country on country, not necessarily against a regime, for example, you won't see much of a congressional declaration. Now, last point here, and I promise I will stop bogarting your space, and I'll go quiet.
Oh, it's okay.
The
We're all
thing
learning here.
the thing that's important over the next few days, and what's happened in the last few days as well, is these primaries that have happened in the last couple of weeks are very important. And they're very important not for the cheerleading that's been going on the right, if you're a MAGA person, about the president's being 37-0 in primaries. That's the distraction. What's important now is the people that lost those primaries are now going to be in their seats in their lame duck session until January. So people like Tom Tillis, people like Cassidy, people like Thomas Massey, and others have now been even more empowered to be menaces in the thorn in the side of this administration. You've already seen it already with a war powers resolution that passed, was advanced in the Senate when Cassidy joined with the Democrats and those moderates, including Susan Collins, Murkowski, and others, to vote for that. And also in the House, you saw this with Jared Golden, a Democrat who is leaving and not running for reelection, who also flipped and has signed on for support for the war power. So why am I telling you this? You are going to see now these people that are not returning to office after the midterms in January take the handcuffs off and get off the shackles here. And the president is now going to be facing more opposition between now and the end in January when the new Senate takes over than he did before, and the new House. And you've just
But the
empowered Mass
Democrats
to do the
aren't
same thing.
the
Go ahead.
Democrats aren't all against this war, right? There's a lot of them that are on board with the Iran.
Yeah. So yes. So every war powers resolution to limit has had every single Democrat except Fetterman on it so far, and it's pretty broad.
But
That's the
that's
thing
not
about
the House.
yeah. So I'm talking about the House and the Senate, right? So the Senate, every single one that's gone through so far has had every Democrat except Fetterman. In the House, I just mentioned Jared Golden, my congressman here, has never voted for it except he just did for the first time. And he's somebody that is leaving. He's retiring. He's not running for reelection in November here in the Maine 2nd Congressional District. So that's a prime example that these folks now are taking the gloves off. They're able to breathe a little bit easier because they're leaving office. And now these are consequential times. Second point is on the ballroom. That's why the Senate just left. The Senate just left session till June now without resolving the ballroom issue, this $1 billion ballroom issue. And because the Republicans in the Senate don't want it. Trump administration's pushing for it. Even Republican senators, even Tommy Tuberville, arguably the dumbest person in the Senate now, because Mark Wayne Mullen is the Secretary of Homeland Security in our idiocracy that we live in, has said that he's not voting for the ballroom either. So you're going to see these people be empowered now. And I mentioned this many, many times in your guys' space here. When the president's numbers dip below 40%, and every single poll out there, right? Literally every single mainstream poll, and even their partisan offshoots, including Echelon by Patrick Ruffini and others, Republican, show the president below 40%, some are as low as 33. People start to feel empowered, and they will start challenging the administration to protect their own asses, and you're already starting to see it. Watch what happens as we get deeper into the summer. We're going to see this war extend. Gas prices and diesel prices are going to go up. People are going to start chirping back home. Okay. You've seen Susan Collins now, who's under threat in Maine, start voting more for this. Her concern level is very high, if I can make a joke. This is going to continue. So these primaries, these last few days, MAGA is very excited about this, except they're primaries. And they're pushing their party to the right, and they're empowering the people they don't like that much more in a time when the balance of power in the House is very, very slim. You got a guy in New
It's
Jersey who
creating a
hasn't.
bigger divide within the party itself too. Like
That
it's
is,
massive right now.
yeah. And as a Democrat, please continue. Just to put my partisan hat on for a second.
Yeah, there was somebody who told me the other day. They're like, Maine's not that partisan. I was like, have you listened to this guy?
Listen, there are times when I'm able to cross the aisle, but right now with what this administration is doing, I don't care if I have to run a giraffe in in a congressional district. We have to get to divided government. We have to get the divided government and get people in there that are going to do what Congress is supposed to be doing in times like this, which is providing oversight. We literally have the most brazenly corrupt administration in history right now, and
Only
Congress
second
isn't doing.
divide. Only second divide.
No, I don't know about that. And you just had Lutnick This came out today. It's on my page. Lutnick cut a check, I think it was for $10 million to members of Congress before he testified about the Epstein files.
No way.
Yeah, on my page, mainstream fucking, go ahead, go look. I think it was $10 million. Insane. Brazenly corrupt. Why? Because they're all going to get pardoned. Doesn't really matter. Okay.
He said he was going to pardon his entire staff, like anybody that came within 200 feet of the Oval Office.
And that's Joe Biden's fault, by the way. Sorry, Democrats. Joe Biden's fault, right? That's why I was against the Biden
That's
pardons.
why I said second only to Biden. I mean, they're
Yeah.
both corrupt as hell.
They're all corrupt. Hey, Maine, I have a question for you. What do you think about the news around Ivanka? Do you think that that's potentially a false flag? Do you think that they're trying to tie stuff to get America's support for this war? Because they're tying it directly to IRGC. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, potentially. I mean, potentially. But Iran is most certainly, I think it's well known, Iran has had plots to kill Americans before, including the current president of the United States, and including Barack Obama. So this is not new. We'll never really know the veracity of the claim. But I will say,
I mean, the guy was picked up. He it was for a Snapchat post, and he was in Turkey. I mean,
yeah. So
I will. How secret can it be when he's snapping? You know what I mean? Like, how secret of a terror plot can it really be when he's snapping it out to the world?
Right.
Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit better than that.
The one thing I will say is when a war gets very, very unpopular, that's when the propaganda starts to spike, right? When they're really trying to drive things. I saw Hegseth had a video out the other day. It was literally like a fucking cartoon, right? I actually miss when superpowers used to have really good propaganda. I mean, propaganda is all terrible. We shouldn't do it, but we do it anyway, right? America used to have some really fucking good propaganda. Our propaganda sucks now. We're getting fucked with by the IRGC and their Legos. It's embarrassing. Can we step it up? We're supposed to be the technologically advanced generation. We're supposed to have these Zoomers and millennials that are supposed to be making really good shit. Yeah,
it's so good.
It's so good. It's so I hate to say it. It's so good. And ours is not great. It's not great. I gotta be honest.
Can I add something, please? Maine, you were talking. I guess you're a Democrat, correct?
Yes, guilty as charged.
No, that's okay. Tell me how the world would be. Because I mean, honestly, I'm a Republican, and
Yeah.
I was a Trump supporter, but man, he's gone totally off the rails.
Yeah.
So don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna, sit there and support what he's doing.
Yeah.
But how will the world be when you guys take over? I mean, because I think you are. I think in the midterms you're going to get the House and the Senate, and then I probably think in 2028 you'll probably get the presidency. So you'll
Yeah.
have total control. How will it be?
So I got to be honest. I thought the question was going to be, well, how would this be different if Kamala Harris was president, right? That's what I thought the question was, because I get the question all the time. It's an impossible one to answer. But I will say this: it really depends, and I know you're going to hate this answer because, it's not going to be very controversial. But I will say this: it really depends on how wide the margins are and how the president reacts to them. Right? The president's going to have two options, okay? And his two options are going to be: is he going to legacy hunt? Right? Is he going to legacy hunt and work with the new majority, or is he going to double down and triple down and quadruple down and fight with the legislative branch and basically destroy his legacy? It really depends what Donald Trump wants to do after that. Okay. And I've made this point very, very clear. Putting into historical context, the Republicans are going to lose, at a minimum, the House of Representatives. Now, the gerrymandering and the redistricting is definitely going to limit the majority that the Democrats are going to take after the midterms. But rest assured, the Democrats are going to take the majority. I've got a couple of, there's an article I wrote about a week and a half ago. It's in my article section. It's free. It's not a subscription. Go ahead and read it. It talks about how the 2024 coalition that Trump used to get elected is fractured. And it's not about MAGA. All right, you're going to have your diehards, but that independent youth vote and Hispanic vote coalition is fractured beyond repair. And the redistricting is all based on that 2024 coalition, which was a grave mistake, especially in Texas. So what's the world going to be like? listen, I think I don't want to be this guy, but I'm going to do it. It's going to be a typical Democrat administration cleaning up the mess that we inherited. It's really that simple. I
It's
would
the same thing that the last one, bro.
now. I'm going
Just
to
kicking this shit back down the road at the last administration. We're tired. I'm tired of that from Trump. I'm definitely tired of it from the Democrats. Like that's more of the same. We don't want more of the same.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, you have to deal with the hand you're dealt, and this is a major situation because it's a what we call
No, we need to
it's a
disrupt.
political. Okay,
No, disrupt.
yeah, great. So I'm going to be an adult here, and I understand the overturn the tables. Let's overturn the tables, throw the cards on the floor, light things on fire, tell people to
That's
not
not
vote.
what I
Right,
said. Whoa, whoa,
right.
whoa.
Don't
Whoa,
don't
whoa, whoa. That's not what I
don't
said.
vote.
Disavow,
Don't vote. Everything's
disavow.
broken.
No,
Don't
but Bill, you were
vote.
thinking it.
Let the oligarchs win by not voting. Things like that. No,
That's not what I said. That's
no,
not
no,
what I
no. But
said. I
it's your.
altered. No.
It's the
Hold on, hold on.
unintended consequence of what
I
you're saying.
altered my position on the no voting thing
There you
since the last time we spoke, May.
That's good. So what's
Maine, the oligarchs are winning when we do vote.
but I would argue now, I think that people are awakening to it. And the reason how you know that, and the oligarchs are getting very concerned, is they are driving the conversation on trying to suppress the vote. Right? They're trying to make it harder to register. They're trying to make it harder to have fairer districts, right? They're trying to make them incredibly partisan. But actually, this is going to Streisand, right? We're at a critical juncture, my friends. It's a political science term, critical juncture theory, right? And a path dependence. The president of the United States just overturned the table. He did something that no president has ever done in 50 years, which is he is in a hot war with Iran. And you are now facing the unintended consequences of a closed Strait of Hormuz. The United States is weakened on the global stage. We just got embarrassed in China by Xi. Okay, we just canceled a weapons deal to Taiwan, which great, we're cucking to the Chinese, fantastic. The Chinese control the Strait of Hormuz now, not the IRGC. Let me say that one more time. The Chinese control the Strait of Hormuz, not the IRGC. The Chinese buy 90% of their oil through the Strait of Hormuz, not necessarily all from Iran, but through the Strait of Hormuz. So who has more say about what goes in and out of there when they buy about 85, 90% of Iran's oil? The Chinese do. Trump went to China not for performative art, but to somehow, some way get a deal to end this war. And basically, she said, fuck you. Basically, we left with nothing, absolutely nothing. But you know who was there a week later? Vladimir Putin. And Putin and Xi signed a whole bunch of shit in the last week. The United States has been weakened inside of 2 years of this administration. And now they're going to throw all the distractions at you now. You're going to see all of it.
I mean, we were already being weakened for 4 years of the Biden administration. Like the partisan talking points.
I'm not being partisan. You can push me as a partisan, and this is why I don't come in here anymore, because this is your default structure. Is because when I start speaking facts and you think I'm doing it from a partisan nature, I'm telling you what the facts are on the ground. The president of the United States, I don't care if it's Joe Biden or Donald Trump, right? It doesn't matter.
You want me to sit here and just say Maine's always right, or do you want?
No, I don't give a fuck if you think I'm right or I'm wrong. I'm telling you what the facts are on the ground. But this whole idea that we need to give equal time and go to this whataboutism thing. Well, Joe Biden, fuck that. Joe Biden's not the president of the United States anymore. There is a president of the United States right now making grave mistakes in geopolitically. Right. So there's no point in saying, well, this has been going on since. No, fuck that. Focus on what's going on right now and how we're going to address it.
Maine, here's the thing is
you're still finger pointing almost the entire time though, right?
I'm sorry, what?
It's not finger pointing, Diligent. No. It's telling you what's going on right now under the administration Terry, we are living in.
Let us cook, Terry. What's that, Maine?
This is what's happening under the current administration. Finger pointing. You could say that this is pointing all the blame. It's discussing the day-to-day issues of what's going on today. It's not my fault.
But we're not in disagreement.
That the president's in there. Right, but you're
Well,
shouting at
we
me
all
like,
know that Trump is the one responsible for
but
us
you're
being in the
shouting
Iran
at me
war.
like, well, this has been going on since
I'm not
Biden, and then
shouting
you
at
want
you.
to, tie it back, and you want to
It's
tie
just
it
my
back to,
microphone. Is it that loud? Do I need to turn
and
it
you
down a
want to
little bit?
tie it back to Biden. This is what I deal with in other spaces
It's
too,
just
right?
the
It's always
finger
this
pointing,
whataboutism.
bro. It's you were constantly, you're like, this administration, this administration, this administration, this administration.
Right.
Instead of talking about the implications of what's happening, right? You keep just saying there's an L, here's an
I
L,
was
here's an L,
literally
here's
just
an
telling
L.
you
It's
what
his
the
fault, it's his
implications
fault,
were.
his fault. Instead of
I was
talking about the
I literally
instead of
just told
talking
you what
about
the
the
implications
implications,
are.
how it's going to affect people on the
Literally
ground,
just said that.
tell people the negative consequences of what's happening.
Literally just did. I just told you that. We just cucked to the Chinese and empowered the Chinese and weakened the United States on the global stage. What
Okay,
don't you
so
understand?
let's dig into that a little bit. We cucked to the Chinese.
Yes.
So are you saying that we don't have operational control of the Strait of Hormuz? China does. That's what you're saying?
That's correct. That is correct.
You're right.
The United States does
Right.
not control the United States does not control the Strait of Hormuz.
You gotta go down, bro. You can't keep talking over us.
The Strait of Hormuz is not controlled by the United States Navy. There are ships moving in and out of there, and they're all tied to the Chinese or people that trade with the Chinese. Right? Even right up going up to the summit in China with Xi, there were 20 ships that left through the Strait of Hormuz at a minimum that were going to China.
U.S. imports directly, but the ripple
Grok, I
effects
want
on
you to
oil
fact
prices.
check that. Who has operational control? Look at most of the try to use non-bias as much as possible. Non-biased sources for who has operational military control of the Strait of Hormuz right now.
But
Is
you
it
just said
IRGC?
military.
Is it the U.S. or is it China? Cite your sources.
Fucking word.
No, China does not have operational or military control. China's just the biggest customer. They buy a ton of the oil that goes through there, so they're hurting the most from the disruptions. They've been pushing for it to reopen without tolls or military interference, but they're not running the waterway. Right now, it's a messy dual blockade. The IRGC has de facto control over actual transit. They're vetting ships, charging fees or tolls, setting routes, and deciding who gets through. The U.S. Navy is blockading Iranian ports and trying to escort some vessels, but they don't control the strait itself. Iran's been enforcing this since the war started in late February. Sources: Reuters investigation from 2 days ago, Wikipedia summary of the 2026 crisis, and reporting from Al Jazeera and others. It's contested, but on the ground shipping reality shows Iran's IRGC calling most of the shots on who.
It's not any. That's just the status quo, man. It's not anything new.
Okay. So I love the
No.
black and white from AI, but here's the nuance to this, and this is the key point that the AI machine just told you. The biggest customer in the region is China. The Chinese will dictate to the IRGC what happens here, not the IRGC. The Chinese have been shipping Iran weapons parts, missile parts, intelligence, giving them access to satellites, all of these types
This is
of
not
different
anything
things.
new, though.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ, Diligent.
Is it new? Am I wrong?
No, but you're not. This is why I don't come in here, because like this is the problem
You
I
can't
have.
have a discussion about it. You
We're
want
not
me to just
having a
let you-
discussion, Diligent. You're not having a discussion. You're interrupting when I say something that you don't
You're
like.
extremely long-winded. It's a back and forth, bro.
It's not a back and forth when you continue to interrupt and then you bring in AI to come down to some like dumbed down Cliff Notes version of what's going on in the world. And not everything in the world can be dumbed down by a machine. There is a lot of nuance here. And the word that the AI machine didn't mention is the word leverage, which is the currency of the day when it comes to geopolitics. The Chinese have more leverage over the IRGC and the Strait than the United States does, which is why when you asked it about military power, the Chinese don't have a military presence in the Strait of Hormuz. Of course not. Nobody said that, neither did I. They use leverage. The Chinese also are sitting on 1.8 billion barrels of oil that they haven't even tapped into for their own supply yet.
I
Why?
think the
They've been
question,
preparing for
Main,
this.
hold on, Main. I think the main
Yes,
question,
another interrupter.
pun
Yes.
intended, is to ask Grok in the last month how many ships tied to China have gotten through the Strait of Hormuz. They'll tell us something.
Sure, go ahead.
Grok, how many ships are getting through to China from Iran in the last 2 weeks?
Very few. Shipping still way down. In the last week or so, we saw about 2 to 3 Chinese linked tankers make it through with oil, mostly carrying 4 to 6 million barrels total. That's a trickle compared to normal. Traffic's running at like 5% of pre war levels. Iran's letting some Chinese ships through as a favor, but it's not wide open.
Now ask her. Now ask her what it's like. How many Chinese ships have gone through since the ceasefire started?
Grok, how many Chinese ships have gotten through the Strait of Hormuz since the ceasefire began?
At least 3 Chinese oil tankers have made it through since the April 8th ceasefire. The main ones reported are the Pearl Lake.
Oh, she just dropped mid sentence. But anyways, you heard her.
Chinese got her. Chinese got her.
But yeah, 3 tankers in 6 weeks, right?
Yep.
Like that's not a massive amount of.
It's
That's
not
a trickle.
Not a lot.
It's not a lot, but it's the most out of any other country that's going through there. Is my point.
It
Maine,
does
what
the
about
most
Russia?
business.
What about Russia? Can we talk a
The
little bit about
Russians,
their
the
influence?
Russians, yeah, the Russians don't get the oil through the Strait. They go north. They go through the Caspian Sea.
But I mean, their influence with Iran,
Oh,
being
sure.
in the same country club as China.
Well, sure. These 3 people golf together, right? And that's
Yeah.
me being funny, right? Iran, China, and the Russians have always been a
That's
tribe.
true.
Yep.
And the
Yeah,
one
but
person,
my point is right. Main
Yep.
is that like, do you not see what I was saying? Like, it's a little biased with your perspective on it. I do understand.
it's
We
not
don't
my fault that the
disagree.
president's the president, right?
I listen. I agree with you that this is Trump's war, right? I do not agree with this war. He's the commander in chief. 100%. He is responsible for the inflated gas prices. 100%. He is responsible for the risk of this escalating. Like, I have been vocally opposed to this. I'm just not like I'm just trying to be objective here as far as like what's really happening, right? Like I do get like there is an incentive here for opportunism politically, especially as we approach the midterms. I'm trying to negate that and just say, look, we need to figure out how to get out of this.
Yeah, well, you're not going to. Right. That's my point that's the point I'm trying to make, right? Is that's not going to end. Right? The president has got us in a pickle here. It's a pretty big fucking pickle. And it's why no other president has done this, because it's a very large pickle. Where the only situation, the only end game has been all gamed out is precisely what you're seeing, which is a stalemate. Right? And
Maine,
there is
aren't a
no
whole lot of
negotiation.
people making money on this war that we can't even imagine?
Oh, I
how
know
much-
it. Oh, I know it, including the president who's made thousands
Yeah,
of trades, right? So
exactly.
exactly. And where the fuck
Manipulating the
where's
stock
Congress?
market. Oh, by the way, Devin Nunes, you mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
he left Truth Social when Truth Social was at the height of its financial troubles, which it's going through right now. I think that's interesting. If he's going to be considered for ODNI.
I'm not sure Devin Nunes gets through the confirmation, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Because I think the president is smart enough, and his political people, his political department, are smart enough to know that they have 210 days with the acting. That's well after the midterms. But also, that's also a risk, right? Because general consensus, I don't care if you look at prediction markets or polling, prediction markets and polling are both telling you that the favorites to at least at a bare minimum win the House are the Democrats. That's a risk. Is the president going to wait 210 days to name somebody? Might be a risk, right? Because the political environment might be very, very different come January when the new Congress
Don't you
takes
think with
over.
redistricting, we actually might have a chance to hold the House, but we'll definitely lose the Senate?
Uh,
That's what I'm looking at.
no, so I think the Democrat. It doesn't matter. The redistricting really doesn't matter. All it really does is going to shrink the amount of the margin that the Democrats are going to have. Right, the Democrats before all this gerrymandering started, were going to have a 40 or 50 seat majority. Right, and that's precisely why they started going down this road of gerrymandering, was to try to mitigate that. Now it's going to be somewhere around 10 or 20. I implore you to read. I put a thread out today that addresses this. There's an article on my page that I really did, and it's math. It's not anecdotal. It's not any of this. It's math. And it really focuses on Hispanic vote, youth vote 18 to 29, and independents. And if those three things, especially the Hispanic vote, if one or all three of those category of voters, which were critical to Trump going back into power in November, if any of them or all of them go back to the Democratic Party where they were in 2020, 2016, 2012, or 2008, the redistricting does not matter. And one of those, the top one being Hispanic voters. And you've already seen that. The president got 48% of the Hispanic vote, which is the highest a Republican has ever received in a presidential election. Look at every single poll
I
that's
think
been.
they know. I think that they're planning on. I think they're planning on giving this to the Democrats. I think that's something that they're planning on happening.
Well,
I
I think
don't.
they're going to try. I think they're going to try everything they
They're
possibly
working
can to
on it.
limit that. They're going to try everything they can to limit that, right? You've seen it in congressional hearings where they won't really comment whether they're going to have military at the polls. You've seen them now pushing the SAVE Act with Grifter Pressler and that Senator Mike Lee from Utah, which will never pass, right? Because they don't have 60 votes. All of this kind of stuff to scare people into this role. Because the only thing that we have now, because Congress won't do shit, is to overturn the table and put in a new Congress that will focus on, in the opposition party, that will focus on what Congress is supposed to be doing, which is the oversight. And here's the fun part. If you would have asked me a year and a half ago whether the Democrats had a clear path to the Senate, I would have laughed at you. Now, it's almost a goddamn sure thing.
I
right?
said this when we were talking about what's going to happen. I've been saying I think they can take it all.
Yep.
I think I honestly think, like, when you were bringing up these things, these social issues, these optic issues, these are predictable, right? To create resentment within the middle ground people, right? The center, the more center. Like when you're talking about military at the polls, only the hardliners right appreciate that, right?
Right.
The centrists don't,
Right.
right? On either side.
Right.
These are policies that are not going to be popular with the majority. That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
And so I can't help but just think that there is a political strategist out there that knows this. If I know this, we can all agree on this, right? Then they have to know this. I still, even the things that you're bringing up, I think that's all part of the. Again, I'm more of a uniparty, thinking everything's a uniparty now. I know that there is like there are some ideologues in the parties, but the majority are uniparty, and I think that they are on board with the pendulum swinging back even harder this time. Every policy I see, every optic I see lends to that belief, right? I think they're planning on it.
Listen, I
So,
think
Maine, I have two questions for you.
Yeah, one second. Let me just make this quick comment. I'll go right to you. I think the big thing here is they miscalculated. They miscalculated what the political ramifications of this war was going to be. I think they miscalculated on the military strategy of it. I think they miscalculated on how long it was going to take. I honestly believe the president of the United States was told that this was going to be just like Venezuela, be quick, fast, in a hurry. I still recall being in Florida and being in spaces and being told that I was wrong, that we weren't going to be there very long. This was going to be days and weeks, not months. And there were some people that told me that it was going to be over on a Monday, right? No, because these people don't understand what the intelligence has said for 50 years. They miscalculated. And now the political ramifications have come home to roost. It's in every single fucking poll. There are people out there that are retarded and will say, well, American people don't care about foreign policy. They do when it affects their pocketbook and it affects everything going on inside their own home. And this particular war
Eric
effort
Prince
is.
told all of this. He told everything you're
I
saying.
don't think, but that's where we disagree. I don't think that they miscalculated. I think they just don't care.
No, I think they do miscalculate.
Trump's not going for re-election. He doesn't fucking care.
No, but president also has a deep-seated need for validation and being loved by literally every person
Only
on the planet.
by the small crew that he's going back to when he leaves office. Those are the only opinions he cares about. He does not care about the country loving him. He cares about the establishment loving him when he leaves. That's why he's
more
enriching
money
them.
when he leaves. But
he's making more money now.
Two questions. Yeah, for the moment. Two questions. One is, what do you think is going to happen with Susan Collins?
Okay, very simple.
I was in a space last night, and I'm going to put my analyst hat on, then I'm going to put my party hat on first. Second, I should say. Susan Collins is Teflon. 30 years, she does one thing very, very well, and it gets her reelected. She brings money into Maine. And it is the only argument that she has to make here that can resonate. So the whole thing about, I compare it to a horse race. If you are a horse that really comes out of the gate really, really strong, the whole thing is to hold off all the other horses, right? She is in the fight of her life. She has never been in a fight like this because of A, the political environment, B, the generational difference, and C, the where she's aligned herself. As of right now, Plattner is up 7 points. That is the most recent poll we have here. However, analyst hat on for a second. Anybody that knows anything about the state of Maine and polling will tell you Maine is increasingly difficult place to poll accurately. So you don't necessarily look at one poll, you look at several. Maine is very, very difficult to poll because you have basically two Maines. You have Maine Congressional District 1 that is very, very liberal. It's one of the most liberal districts in the country. It'll always be true blue. Then you have the district I'm in where they voted for Trump every single time he's been on the ballot, but they've sent a Democrat to the Congress 2020, 2022, and 2024. It's a Trump +9 district. Now, all the aggregates will tell you two things. One, Collins in this district, Maine 2, won this district by 20 points. Last time she was up for election in 2020. She's only up 4 now. Not great, and down 7 to Plattner. What do I think? I think Graham is going to win, and I'm going to tell you why. Nobody in the state of Maine gives two shits what the national, what the national political establishment and media are putting out there because we already know these things. All this stuff that's out there now has been in Maine and in the press here and in the rumor mill, and we operate in a rumor mill in a state that only has 1.4 million people in it. Okay, I mean, many of you are in big states. I'm sure you have 1.4 million people, probably in a 2-mile radius of where you are.
We get
We have
1.8.
probably a lot more than that. I have 1.4 million people in my entire state. And then when you're in this state and you live here full time, and that's, your economy is basically on agriculture, aquaculture, and tourism, we all know each other. It's not 6 degrees of separation here, it's 2. Everybody here either knows Graham Plattner or somebody close to them knows him on a cellular level. Everything that's out there now in the national political atmosphere and in the media has already been known in Maine since day one, and it doesn't move the needle. That's why every single time some kind of new drop from right-wing media out there going after him, notice they don't want to talk issues. They just want to attack Graham's character and past Reddit statements, which I always find interesting because for the last 4 years or 10 years now, we've talked about mean tweets and how locker room talk and Trump's politically incorrect, but everybody gets very upset about Graham Plattner. Last point on Graham.
Okay.
Last point on
Final-
Graham, and I'll go right back to you.
Yep.
He's going to win.
Okay.
He's going to win. And it's because every single time these stories come out, his numbers only go up. He just beat a sitting 2-term Democratic governor in a primary so badly that she's not even going to make it to the primary. She already dropped out.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
Okay. The other
Real
question
quick,
is,
everybody,
why?
hold on. I need to do some housekeeping. We have over 500 listeners here and like 70 reposts. Go down to the bottom right corner and please repost, share the space. Let's get more increase so we don't let the I won't say it, Maze, because you're co-hosting, but let's get American
Thank you.
Spaces up in the lead there. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Why
and then
did
I want to
the-
bring it back into the topic, you guys. So land this.
Yeah. Why did the intelligence community come flooding back to Washington today? Is that because he's going to kick this off? What's your prediction?
Yeah, so I think it's a confluence of events. One, the lead, the head of the intelligence community just resigned. That's important. 2, the president is not going to his son's wedding. I made a joke earlier about the psychology of that, but he's not going to his son's wedding because obviously something is going on.
Iran's closed its airspace, so it's something with Iran as well.
That is correct. There's a lot of radar jamming going on right now in the Gulf. So I believe this is Trump doing 2 things. One, a last ditch pressure point to Iran to make a deal. Iran is not going to do that. because both sides have terms that are kind of harsh for the either side, right? We've heard Khomeini and the political establishment in Iran tell you that we're not giving up uranium, which is obviously a red line for the U.S. The U.S. doesn't want to cede control of Hormuz, which they already have. So this is again a stalemate. So yeah, I do believe we're going to start bombing. Whether it's this weekend, would be a great time to do it since it's Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
People are going to be
long
distracted.
weekend.
It would make sense.
But let
Okay,
me, can
finally,
I just add a
Diligent.
little context there really quick about the uranium because I think it's important. One of the things that the concerns that we have is that it's enriched to 60%, but Iran did offer as a concession to under the IA or is it the JC the IA whatever
Yeah.
the whatever that agency is that they would dilute it. They just don't want the enriched uranium completely leaving the country. So they were trying to meet, but that's still not something that Trump is willing to accept, which is
Okay, comment, and then I'm going to shut up. I think that what we're seeing is, just this incredible dance from Trump and his allies to, paper this over. But the thing that I wanted to say was it's unbelievable that we have a situation here where Trump, I mean, let me go back. I'm not going to hit on Trump. The issue was the Democratic Party, Maine, I think, let us down, people like you and me. They didn't have a primary. It was really Joe Biden and the Democratic Party elders, whoever they are, that let us down. And so, and the final thing I'm going to say is whenever people say, well, get rid of the filibuster or whatever, or, this voting madness, I always say, can you spell AOC? And, everybody goes, oh, she'll never be president. And I go, that's what they said about Trump. So I think, be careful what you pray for. You might get it. But I think that the Democratic Party needs a house cleaning major.
And we're doing that, thank God. It's the first time I haven't been involved directly with the Democratic Party, working for any candidates or campaigns or consulting firms since 2016. I took a major step back after what I would call was let's just call it a disenfranchisement by the DNC in the 2016 primary cycle. And I took a major step back. And people that know me in real life will tell you the same thing. I wasn't the only one. But this is the first time in a really long time that I've seen something in the Democratic Party that I've been begging for, which is decentralization. And you can see this in two ways. One, there are candidates running all over the country now without the DNC's help, and they're actually succeeding. And two, the money difference. You see I've seen a lot of these posts the last few weeks about the money difference on hand between the RNC and the DNC.
Yep.
And at the top level, the top line, I'd be like, oh my God, the Democrats have no money. The Democrats have no right. The Democrats the DNC doesn't have any money because the donors are really pissed off at the way the DNC is being run right now. This is a hot topic on the left right now, which I can get into the weeds with, but I don't have enough time, and it's kind of a boring topic.
Yep.
But
Yeah,
what the donors are doing is donating directly to candidates and donating directly to state parties, which is precisely what we want. We wanted this to be centralized, so Washington D.C. was not picking candidates to run in places like, I don't know, Maine or Texas.
And you
if you
lose
look,
a lot of money with the consultants as well.
That's correct, because these people are only married to the dollar and the paycheck, right? It's how you have Plattner in Maine, you have Tallarico in Texas. It's how you have Osborne out in Nebraska, who's an independent and has a fucking really good shot at winning a Senate seat in Nebraska, right? Like, just this stuff has been decentralized, and it's needed to happen. And by the way, after the 2016 primary cycle, there was what was called, I can't believe they called it this, it's so cheesy, called the Unity Commission. And one of my closest friends in the world, Nomiki Konst, who's definitely to the left of me, but a progressive operative, was part of that Unity Commission and making those reforms to the DNC. So we got to this point that it was completely decentralized, where there wasn't one power broker, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, calling the shots anymore.
very much decentralized and empowering the state parties to find their own candidates. And
Weren't you
that's why
just
Democrats are doing
recently?
that.
Weren't you just not too long ago cannibalizing your own party? Weren't you gonna like try to invoke some change and disrupt from within?
Which we are.
That
Yeah, and it's working.
Yeah, I think that's happening, Bill.
Yeah, it's
I guess
actually
that's
happening.
how is that happening?
Really?
I think people like Maine and myself, even me, I'm like going to go to one of my first Democratic Central Committee meetings out here. I've been to one maybe 20, 25 years ago, but people like me in Maine are getting involved again in the party.
I just
we
hear a lot
abandoned
of
party.
the same rhetoric. I hear like a lot of what I'm hearing, and I'm sorry, man, I'm not trying to just pick on you, but I hear a lot of the status quo partisanship that I always hear, right? And it's like hearing it's like someone pitching communism to you. It's gonna be different this time, guys. I promise. I
You could be
promise
right,
it's gonna be different
Diligent.
this time. Right.
You could be
I would
right.
say the same about Republicans. Hold on, hold on. I'm just saying I say the same thing about Republicans right now, right? This is not me being partisan, but I mean, I'm not hearing a lot of
Mhm.
change in the rhetoric. This you were hosting spaces, okay, not too long ago, within 2 or 3 months ago, and you were like, "This is going to be a nonpartisan. I want all of the independents. I want all the centrists. I want all the disillusioned, the disenfranchised in here." And it seems like that has just gone out the fucking window. Is that am I wrong?
Okay, and
You're
Professor,
very,
Oh,
whenever.
go ahead, independent. You can chime in.
oh,
Thank you.
sure.
And the reason why is because the Crips and Bloods political thoughts, it is actually hard to break away from them, right? So even no, and I can say that because I actually did. So with that being said, it is literally hard, right? If you got friends in there, or at least I don't really want to call them friends, because really anybody in political like that is not friends. It's always a transactional relationship. But in the same aspect, you got associates in there, the people that you kind of dally dilly, and political is in there, and before you know it, you're kind of roped in like a little fish back into the cause, right? I mean, I'm dead serious when I say it, and I know, right? So the only way that you effectively actually break away from those people, you have to do like anybody that's in a cult do, is that you have to literally cut them off. If you don't, you're going to dilly dally right back every single time. And that is.
I hear you, independent. The thing we got to get our heads around is the two parties control ballot access. Period.
I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I get how bad it is right now, especially as a pure independent. However, that doesn't mean I'm going to associate with either one of the cults in order to make it better.
I have a
I hear you.
question for you guys, for Maine and for Terry, whoever is been on the Democrat side. I was independent for years, and this
For
is
the
not.
record, to
This
Terry's
is not a.
credit, he donated to a Republican for the first time ever this year.
Whoa!
So shout out to
I
Terry.
Terry, good for
Yeah,
you. Listen,
I
but
gave
listen,
money
this
to
is not a
Matthew.
pro. This is not a. This is. Let me finish. This is not a pro-Republican statement at all. Okay, I have a question to Maine because you have a lot of inside information about the DSA. What about the influence? And I'm talking for
Mm,
decades because it seems to be the party that was selected for it, though I think it's on both sides. What about the DSA and the American Communist Party? What
mm,
about the infiltration of these groups? I could get into Momdonomy, but I think that's a separate issue.
mm,
But what is your opinion on the influence of the communist slash socialist, because people
mm.
seem to say it's the same thing, into the Democrat Party today?
Sure. Well, two things. The DSA and the ACP are two totally different things. So the ACP is more right wing than they are left wing, which I've always found fascinating. Which is it's a common misnomer with the ACP, and I don't really waste much time on them. Now, the DSA is interesting simply because they have more of a foothold in blue states and blue cities more than anywhere else. Now, are they driving conversation and debate on certain policy? Yeah, sure. You're hearing them in chatter on paid leave, paid sick leave, progressive taxation, things of that nature. Now you hear the word socialism and everybody freaks the fuck out, and we run down the rabbit hole of scare tactics and things of that nature. Now, do they have a lot of say in where the party's direction is going to go? I don't necessarily agree with that. Now, I think the Democrats now, the way that the Republicans have positioned themselves, I think the Democrats are positioning themselves as a larger tent. Now they'll take them becoming a larger tent means you have a lot of different voices from different places on the political spectrum. You're going to have your leftists that are in California or New York City or Chicago. You're going to have your blue dog Democrats in the South or in New England, like me in Maine and other places. And you're going to get these independent union guys like Osborne in Nebraska or people like that, right? You're going to have that. And unfortunately, the way our political discourse is, the minorities with the loudest voices always get the most airtime, right? That's why you come on. I love coming on X because it's not the real world. And I hear these people like on the far right, like Captive Dreamer and these other people that, that nobody off this app has any idea who the fuck they are. Fuentes too, same thing, right? I was reading a poll the other day, the New York Times Siena poll, which is one of the top polls in the country. And you look at the stuff, and they asked Republicans who Nick Fuentes was, and I think the number was around like 10% or something like that. And it's even less than that when he gets to the younger demo. So I don't think these people have nearly as much say as everybody thinks they do, especially on the political aspect side of things. Now, that being said, where you're going to see the extremes, both on the right and on the left, is in the big cities. That's just the nature of it, especially with DSA. Are there going to be extremists in there? Of course. And I'm one of the first to always call out the extremists in my party, and I hope others do as well. And I hope, and I do believe this, that as the Democrat goes back to being what it was in the 90s, and that's the project now, is becoming that big tent, that the folks in the middle, the adults in the room,
How do you
outnumber
avoid
the
giving
radicals on
cause?
the left.
Yeah,
How
I'm
do you
sorry.
avoid?
I have to.
I just want real quick, and both of you can answer this.
Mm.
How do you avoid the culture war trap? Right,
Yeah,
right?
that's a great question. That's a
The
really great
progressive
question.
culture
Yeah,
war
just tell
trap.
those people to fuck off.
Yeah, it's a really great question, and this has been at the forefront of the discussions inside the Democratic Party since 2016. There were people that have been warning about this stuff for 10 years, and it was ignored. The Democratic Party in the 70s made the same mistake with Wall Street. They married themselves to Wall Street for years, and it damn near destroyed the party up until Bill Clinton. And then Clinton did the same thing. He doubled down after he got himself in trouble. Fast forward after the Obama election, Democrats were aimless. Barack Obama was a once in a lifetime candidate that inspired a lot of people, was behind a lot of people, and built the largest and most successful political operation in history. Um, After that, Democrats were rudderless. They had no identity. They had no leader. They didn't know what to do or who or what to how to organize anymore. And they decided that identity politics was the way to go, and it was incredibly
So they
incorrect.
turned to Hillary Clinton, man?
Not great. Not great. Not great. So I think the way that the Democrats stay away from this is you follow the gift that's been given. And the gift that's been given now is the one that Trump was also given when the Democrats nominated Hillary Clinton, which is the populist stuff. And I think now Democrats, you're seeing this happen all over the country, regardless of where they're at, talking about economic populism again, talking about middle and
Yep.
blue collar people. You're
Yep.
hearing these people talk about farmers in the Midwest. Democrats haven't been talking about them for 40 years, and producing those policies that are trying to do that. That's why you have Osborne doing so well in Nebraska. It's why you have Plattner doing so well in Maine. It's why you have Tallarico doing so well in fucking Texas, of all places.
There was a
So that's
guy
that.
Well, there's a
just
bunch
the
of
other day.
disillusioned.
Okay.
The party, the right is disillusioned. Like this is. It's not that things are because people are doing so great. It is because people are so unhappy with what's currently happening, right? Like it's the swing. It's like it's not that things are so different. People are ecstatic about what's being presented to them right now. They just want anything but what's happening, right? Like it is.
Yeah.
Would you
It's a
agree?
classic. It's a classic midterm cycle, right? It's a
Yeah, but
classic midterm cycle.
anybody but
I
Trump
didn't
or
listen.
Except
anti-Trump
for
is not going to do it.
particularly right now. I mean,
It's
things
not
are
Carlson.
hold on. For as a MAGA Republican who went all the balls to the wall to get Trump in there, I am not there are people who canceled me last summer in droves. And I mean fucking lists of influencers and large MAGA accounts that were blocklisting me, all kinds of shit, are unblocking me, having mutuals message me fucking apologizing and shit. Like it's in droves. I'm
Nice.
not even, huh?
Nice.
No, I'm just saying people are not fucking happy with what's happening right now. You're not going, I don't think you're going to get people to go out and vote Democrat. But what will happen is they won't
They'll
fucking
stay home.
show up. They
Yep.
won't show
That's
up.
the point, Diligent. It's if
They'll stay
people
home.
that is the point. People are not going to end up showing up. Now, if we go back through history, yeah, I gotta go backwards. So basically, yeah, if we go back to first of all, Democrats didn't even have a coalition after Jimmy Carter because of what happened, right? Of what happened. The what was that? The hostages in Iran. They didn't even have a coalition because of the fact that when Reagan came in, Reagan had it's like it was a sweep. That's the best way to talk about it, right? It was a big sweep. Now, meanwhile, between times,
Contract for America.
exactly. Meanwhile, between time, Daddy Bush, he screwed up when he said no new taxes, and then he turned around and did taxes. That's what led to Bill Clinton being able to do "Don't Stop, Think About Tomorrow," and everybody was like, "Oh yeah, we love that song." So and playing the saxophone on Arsenio Hall, that led to him being in there. Now, one thing I will always give Bill Clinton is that he did a balanced budget. In fact, that was the last balanced budget that we have had since that point. And it was plenty of jobs, plenty of jobs. You could quit a job on Friday and find like 10 of them on Tuesday. And that is the honest to God truth. It was a dot-com bubble at the same time. So, I mean, all that was going on. Now,
I hate to tell you, independent. In part, it was because Bush raised taxes that gave Clinton that opportunity.
it could have been. I'm just saying Bush got hit because of the fact he said no new taxes and then he raised taxes. So, so that was 8 years. He got caught up in the whole, couldn't keep a zipper on or up or whichever way. And then from that point, you end up getting, which still, I mean, honestly, the Supreme Court decision, that was weird. Gore would have probably been president minus hanging chads.
Independent.
Right?
How do you feel as somebody who left the Democrat Party and is now an independent?
Democratic Party. Thank you.
Yeah, let's say it right. Come on.
I'll say it how I want to say it. How about
Yeah, you
don't
just be
police
wrong.
my speech?
Then you're just gonna be wrong.
Independent. As somebody who left the Democrats,
Probably.
how do you feel about the opportunism that we see rising in the wake of the midterm swing? Are you how do you feel about that?
I mean, first of all, I mean, I'm just like, this is just absolutely crazy right now. So first, you got to go into the Democrats and the Republicans. They're caught a Trump. The Democrats are just trying to find a way, and they keep dipping into stuff that makes no sense if they're trying to. First of all, in the Midwest, they're not trying to save, well, maybe Nebraska, not trying to save farmland, not in the state of Michigan, which is also the Midwest. They're trying to throw data centers all over it. These are Democrats that are riding with this. They're riding harder with it, with our 5 Great Lakes than the
They want
damn
the Great
Republicans.
Lakes.
Right. And that's like, whoa, wait a minute. What are y'all talking about? So that's
It's the
weird.
largest concentration of fresh water on the planet.
It
If you didn't know,
absolutely is.
other than frozen water.
Yes, and then Ohio, the same thing. And then you have over in next state is over there in what's that, Indiana. Then you have the Republicans rolling over there with data centers, and it's like, wait a minute, where are we at? And it's like nobody can find identity because of the fact that nobody is actually talking to the American people. They're too busy getting their donor dollars, particularly the super PAC dollars, and that's who's running these politicians. I don't care if it's Democrat or Republican. They are all being ran by super PAC dollars.
Preach.
I'm just saying because it's real. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the moment, and this is when I was a Democrat, the moment that basically Citizens United came into play, now we're talking what, almost a decade, 7+ on that, 7 years later. We don't control we as people are not the deciding factor. We are we're thinking that we are, though. We're thinking that we go to the polls and we vote for these people and they actually are going to do our bidding. Yeah, right. We figured that out with Trump. And honestly, it's been figured out even before that. They don't. We don't, because we don't have the cash. until we actually just kind of like just I keep saying this, and I know I sound like a socialist, and I am not. But until we actually do a revolution and sweep these people out of here and actually take our government back for real, it's just going to continue doing the same duopoly 2 cycle game, and that's really how it is. Everything else is BS.
Did
I
y'all send
actually
y'all the
agree.
identity politics into the Republican Party, bro? Did y'all infiltrate them with the victim stance
I,
people?
I've got to bounce, but that was one of the I can't disagree with independent agree with independent more on everything she said. If you've been in spaces with me, you know my top issue is campaign finance. I'm a pretty well renowned quote unquote expert
And that's
about
something we
campaign
agree on,
finance.
Maine.
Now
What?
that's why my number one issue, and I'm going to get so much shit from what I'm about to say, and I don't really care. It's why one of the top things I want Democrats to do when they get in there, and whether it's because they won't get where I want them to be in 2027 when they take over. This will be 2029. We are on the same path that the Democrats were on in 2006, right? Same exact. You want to talk about history? 2006, George W. Bush had a very unpopular war. His economy was going into recession. Democrats ran a midterm campaign in 2006 on an unpopular war and a weak economy. And you know what happened? Democrats dominated the midterms. They took over the House, took over the Senate. Nancy Pelosi became Speaker. Harry Reid became the Senator. Rest in peace, Harry Reid. 2008 comes around, and the presidential election looks very different than what thought we were getting in 2006. 2006, we thought we were getting Hillary Clinton and some guy named Rudy Giuliani. You may have heard of him. Those were the two frontrunners at the time, 2006. Right? The midterms completely changed the entire trajectory of the country. 2008 comes in, Barack Obama wins the election, so on and so forth. But Democrats also got super majorities in the House and the Senate 2008 when they took over in 09. So what do I want Democrats to focus on? This is what I want everybody to focus on. I want 4 more people on the Supreme Court. But I only want 4 more people on the Supreme Court until we overturn Citizens United. And when we overturn
Yes.
Citizens United and McCutcheon and Free Speech Now, those are the 3 biggest court cases on this issue. We go right back to 9. And let me tell you, we've done this many
Hey, Maine, don't
times.
forget the
Just a minute.
2008 bailout of banks
Yes,
that
yes.
Obama did.
Yeah, so we also made money
Yep.
off that
You're
deal, but
not
that's
gonna
all.
win. You're not gonna win a whole lot of moderates on the
I
right with that.
listen to what I'm saying and let me finish. And by the way, the point about the banks, I hated that too, but we also made money off that deal. But that's neither here nor there.
Amazed,
Uh,
or
uh,
Harmon, I need you to take over for a minute.
so last point, and I have
When
to
you
go.
do.
Is I have to go. We've done this multiple times in American history. We used to have 7 justices on the court. Then we went to 9. Then we went back to 7. Then we went back to 9. Okay, we have 13 appellate districts, federal appellate districts in this country. 13. We only have 9 justices. The compromise is the following. We put 4 people on the court to take up what Maine just did. The state of Maine banned super PACs by citizen referendum in 2024. It's going through the court process right now. We have the power to do this. Put 4 people on the court, you take them out after you pass this, you get your democracy back. Because I 100% agree with what Independent just said. There's been much academic research on this topic. I was in a Dilly space the other night. I cited it's Gillens and Page was one of the first people. One of my dissertation was on this topic as well. It's why I'm big on campaign finance. You're 100%
Mine
right.
was too.
100% right that the people in Washington have no interest in procuring votes as much as they are dollars. Until you change that, I don't care what other issues you guys have in your mind. You could be a JQer and want to get us separated from Israel. You could be anti-data center and big tech. You could be
Absolutely right.
economic populism. You could be, we need to build a wall on the border of Mexico that's 1,000 feet high and electrified. You can do that if you want. None of that happens until you get money out of politics. I am a revolutionary when it comes to this. I am somebody that believes every single dollar. I don't care if it's from me, from Maze, from Diligent, from the MAGA voice Russian person down there that doesn't speak in spaces, just throws up emojis like some kind of paid hack, or if it's some kind of corporate PAC billionaires, millionaires, super money, dark money, all of it should be banned. All of
Maine, can
it.
I ask you a question about that?
And
I know you gotta go.
it should be public financed. There should be money set aside in the federal budget given to candidates at an equal playing field, so elections and debates are made and voter decisions are made on the merits of ideas, not on who spends $30 million on a fucking primary in Kentucky. That's not how this is not what the founders wanted or what they had in mind for a republic. When the rich and the people with the well-to-do and the corporations, and I'm going to say this, Democrats are not going to like this, super PACs don't have to report anything. How much foreign money do you think floods into super PACs?
Tons.
Tons. Tons. And let me tell you this, foreign companies, Toyota, pick anyone, Huawei, any kind of foreign company you could think of. If they have an American subsidiary, they can create a political action committee.
It's billions of dollars.
It's billions of dollars and it's on all over the place. So that's
and
the
it's
compromise.
not just for elections, it's all year.
Yep.
Yeah.
And through
all of us
lobbying
need
dollars
to
too.
coalesce. I agree with Maine's diagnosis, maybe not as prescription, but all of us, all of us who are, I think the people in here are patriots, need to coalesce around getting money out of politics now.
I agree, but I 100% agree. Just so you know, the main argument that I come up against, and I guess what do you say and how do
Pun
you?
not intended, Maine. Don't get a big head. You've already had one big enough for this whole space.
Oh, y'all are funny, though. I love listening to you guys go back and forth. It's like you guys have a love-hate relationship because you guys are on the same side of shit, but then you guys clash.
Yeah, Maine, don't let Dill run you out of his own room. Don't let him do that.
He's sorry. Okay, but look,
I bring people to Dilly's room. He can't get rid of me.
Please.
Oh gosh, listen to these two. Stop it.
Go
Okay,
start one up with
so
your
the
100
main
people.
argument is that this is against the First Amendment, and I'm like, how?
I like Maine, but we're actually. I think that we're almost too much alike with how we approach politics, except for I am more biased towards the conservative side, and he's more biased towards the progressive side. He's not a leftist, but he's left.
You think?
Yeah,
I get that too, Maze. I get that too, Maze.
I get fucking spaces run on me on this fucking app now from lefties that think I'm a MAGA plant. So there, you take that as you want.
Welcome to the party. Go search your own handle. Go search your own handle on Spaces dashboard and see how many you have going. I have it. It's like daily. Almost,
it's fun stuff. It's fun stuff. Listen, the Democratic Party is more in a better position right now to attract independent voters.
Did you know that the Democrat Party had its own election denier club? I didn't know this until last summer.
Well, what's her face? Baby mama number, what is it, 13 or whatever of Elon had that video that went viral the other day that she was basically alluding to the fact that lasers were used for 2024. Right?
The
I saw that
Jewish-based
video.
laser stole the 2020. I didn't say it. She did.
She did.
Very funny.
And
What the hell? What does that mean? Lasers were used.
Oh,
Hold
yeah.
on,
Go have fun.
I have a question, guys.
Ask the question and I got to go.
Okay. So one of the things that I guess the main arguments that I get back when I talk about no more campaign financing is that is impeding on the First Amendment. But I don't get it. I don't understand how when you're introducing
you
money
have to flip you Citizens United.
What?
Maze, I can answer this legally.
It's like Roe v. Wade, right?
Let me just answer this. It's what it is that the Supreme Court years ago ruled that money is speech. Money isn't speech. What's removed, it is speech.
All because of a stupid documentary about fucking Hillary Clinton.
And that is just one of the worst decisions ever.
I honestly think it was a scam. Like it was all part of the plan. But go continue.
Probably. And that's the problem is we have to get, do you think money is speech? No, it's speech once removed. Money can buy you anything, including speech. But I think we're the only country in the world probably that doesn't have effective campaign finance controls.
First Amendment doesn't say money on it, but I do want to ask, man, do you see us with the identity politics over here? What is going on, man? Like seriously, it's getting sickening.
Well, I'll say this: identity politics is always going to exist. It's just a matter of what identity politics we're engaging in. I think the new identity politics now that's happening, and I think it's made a lot of the oligarchs very nervous, is it's class based, not so much race or gender or sex or whatever, who you're fucking and who you're married to or whatever. It's how much money you get paid for your job. Are you a serf or are you a let's call them
Say
vulture
it. Say
capitalists?
turf. Are you a surf or a
Are you a
turf?
surf? Are you a surf? Are you a turf? Are you a robber baron? Right? It's class based. And that's been the big fear of the people that actually run the country, to borrow a George Carlin line, right? Is that the people, the middle and working class people that may have big red hats on or have blue shirts on start to realize, holy fucking shit, they're dividing us on purpose so they can run away with all the
Maine,
fucking
that's how
money.
the French Revolution started.
That is correct. And that
Yep.
was the
Yes,
point I was going to
sir.
make. Exactly. And there's going to come a point when that marriage is going to take place. And I'm sorry, I see now Democrats divorcing themselves from that elite class. And that's been the one part of the Epstein files that's really underreported, where we're actually starting to see Democrats separate from that elite. And you're seeing it in the primaries that they're running. Like you got that guy Goldman, Dan Goldman in New York, okay, who most people don't know this. How many of you guys wear Levi's? Dan Goldman is a Levi heir. Most people don't know that. Okay, guy's multi billionaire. He's getting his ass kicked in a primary. He's going to lose his seat. Okay, Democrats are doing the same thing right now that just happened to Massey. We're not not using $30 million to do it, but that's what's happening, right? You're starting to see this populism, and at some point, those that have economic populism at the top of their issues, cost of living, inflation, why people can't afford homes, mortgage rates back to 675, so on and so forth, healthcare access, all this kind of stuff. People are going to realize that uniparty, that neoliberal, neoconservative uniparty, boomer, neoconservative, neoliberal uniparty in Washington that's had a stranglehold since Carter is dying off, right? Look at the crosstabs in that Massey primary. It'll blow your fucking mind. The people, Massey lost because old people voted and young people did not,
Be
right?
careful on the old people thing, man.
Sorry.
So
I'm a son of old people. I'm a son of old people, So last point, then that this is going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And I am an eternal optimist on this last thing. When millennials are the seats of power in Washington, not the boomers, when millennials are in there, things are going to start to change, and they already are. You're even starting to see Gen Z people in there, like Maxwell Frost, a little left for my taste, but he represents his district very well in Orlando. Okay, and you're starting to see something. I'm going to throw this name out there because people have been sleeping on him for a while, and I'm not shilling or anything, but he wasn't on my list up until about 2 months ago. And that's the senator from Georgia, John Ossoff. And that's not because of his policy platform. It's because he's 38 years old. And he's about to win re-election in Georgia pretty handedly. He'll win 5, 6 points, probably even more than that. And he'll be on some short list somewhere to run for president in 2028. He's 38 years old. There is a pendulum swinging, and it's a generational change, and we are right on the cusp of it. And you're starting to see these types of Democrats now that I never thought were going to be out there. You got Plattner up here who's talking about we should never get rid of assault weapons. That would be taboo in Democratic politics 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago, right? You got Tallarico in Texas who's saying nice things about oil and gas industry, right? These are decentralized campaigns where people are representing their own districts and representing their own states and bringing it to a national platform where we're not all cut from the same cloth, right?
Let's see him. Let's see the action behind it, though.
We'll
I'm
see
making
what
that.
happens when they get in. But I gotta go. I gotta bounce. This has been a good space. I got food in the oven, which I totally forgot about, which is probably not existent anymore. So now I have to have cereal. But you guys have a good night.
Still,
I'll
as he leaves,
Wow.
block him, okay?
Wow.
oh, by the way, they're Cocoa Puffs, by the way. Cocoa Puffs forever.
Bon appetit, Maine.
That was politically correct of you, man. Very politically correct of you. All right, let's go to let's go to some new people real quick. Funky Monkey and then Social.
Diligent. Thank you for the mic. Funky Monkey here. And I guess I'm a blue shirt worker. And what Maine was saying about money in politics, I never really thought about it. Now I'm 50 years old and I see what's happening, but before I didn't really even pay attention. And I'm trying to teach my kids how it all kind of works. And it's just, um, it's amazing. I mean, it's driven our country though to greatness. Not greatness, but it's made us affordable. It's made us a great country. It's provided freedom. It's provided opportunity. It's provided capital. All these things. But we're reaching a point where it's kind of um, we're figuring it out because of social media, and and everyone's talking to each other and figuring out, hey, wait a minute, this is really bullshit the way it works, and that's what I have to say.
Oh,
All
oh,
right. Oh,
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I got more to say. We can talk more about other topics too, but
Well, I mean, what do you think about the DNI and Tulsi Gabbard quitting today? You have an opinion on that?
I do not. No, I do not. I don't.
You
But
got
Okay.
something on your heart.
you have that.
What about Tyler Robinson? The timeline being shifted from 9/12 to 9/11. So his family told me that um, he was taken in around 7 p.m. Eastern on 9/11 after Charlie Kirk was shot, which would put him right at the time when it would be hard for him to text and do a Discord confession if the cops had his phone and he was in custody. What do you think about that?
I agree. I agree. There is a lot of things that don't add up, and that's why we've been having these conversations on your spaces and other spaces, and it just doesn't add up. So, and I don't know that we'll get to the bottom of it. It's going to be another JFK. It's going to be another, Martin Luther King. It's going to
But we
be,
have a lot of there's a lot more the skeptics have a lot more resources than they had in JFK's day, right?
yeah, yeah, they do. Yeah. Well, we have a lot of information now. I mean, people are tracking planes, right? They're we're tracking everything, and there's so much study going on, and it's Maine was mentioning about millennials, and that's where we enter millennial and social media, and so here comes millennials, and we're not we're, but um, I'm thinking that I don't know how to put it. I guess what I'm saying is that our eyes are open. That's what I'm saying. Our eyes are
But what,
open.
just say it, because I could tell something. You got something on your tip of your tongue.
Yeah, but the eyes are open, and it it, it it's not adding up, and the government's not adding up. The case with what happened with Charlie's not adding up. What happened with COVID's not adding, and it's just it keeps growing. And this is great that we have discourse about it. And so, I mean, that's where I'm at. I mean, but I used to not. I guess what's interesting to me is I used to not even know or pay attention to it when I was in my 20s or 30s or even 40s. Now that I'm 50 and I hear from everybody else's thoughts and ideas, it I'm I'm I like the knowledge that I'm gaining, and I want to
It's
transfer
the
that knowledge
Episcopalians, man.
to the
It's the
kids.
Episcopalians.
but stop interrupting him because it's hard to pay attention to what he's saying.
It's
Go
okay.
ahead.
You want to transfer that knowledge to the kids. I was following with you, Funky. Continue.
Okay, yeah. So I want to transfer the knowledge to the kids and what they're going to experience over the next, 10 years and 20 years. They just got out of
I
college.
have to I have to say that generation, they are far brighter than the generation previous. They are this like latest iteration is very, very with it, man.
They
Would you
are.
agree?
I do agree. And I find myself where I want to make sure that they know, be, because some of them are only on TikTok or they're only on Insta, or they're you know what they're doing? They're just partying. That's it. That's what it comes down to. And hell, we all
Actually, they drink
party.
less than any. The Gen Z drinks less than any
Yeah, they ain't drinking.
generation. They're not drinking.
Well, they're still
They are
partying though.
fucking though. That's what they're doing. That's what he means. That's what he means.
Yeah, yeah. They don't know.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, they're partying in their own way. They're not thinking about their future, and and now I am thinking about their future. Now I am thinking about
That's
their
what I'm thinking
children's
about as
future.
well.
Yeah,
I have a child that age. She's college.
yeah, yeah. So I don't, so I don't, so it just keeps evolving. Like, and we don't know what's really going on, and we
Except for
keep
things are
evolving together.
happening. Things are happening now that we never dealt with, like the rise of AI, right? And the true threat of or the threat of a truly tyrannical government, and its allegiance to things that are not we the people, right? And I don't think we've always had that threat looming over us as a free country, a republic if you can keep it. But I think that that threat is greater now than it's ever been in human history with the rise of AI. So, thank you, Funky. Really appreciate you, brother. Let's go to social. Go ahead, social. Social, are you there?
Can you hear me?
Barely.
Okay. A suggestion on the Supreme Court. I suggest to go around the Supreme Court to go after Citizens United. Let's tax all corporate donations and soft money at 100%. Same way they're going to try to get around the slush fund. Then you bypass the rulings made by the Supreme Court already.
Okay. Thank you, social.
And
Let's go to Yodi. By the way, everybody.
I also think we should.
Oh, sorry, bro. It was the feedback. I tried muting you. I think I dropped you. I'm sorry. It was echoing. Real quick, you can request. Everybody, make sure you're following my co-host Maze and Harmony. They're both beautiful, very intelligent, very kind women. Harmony does hot yoga. She co-hosts a bunch of space. I think she's gonna start hosting her own spaces soon. Make sure you're following her. Make sure you're following Maze. She hosts her own woo-woo spaces late at night. And they are good. I think last night we covered. She was trying to cover Anunnaki, and then I made the space about Zionism. If you can believe that shit. Just educating though, not. I wasn't bashing it. And I'm gonna be hosting the space. I think I'm gonna wait until. I think I'm gonna wait until Sunday because I didn't think about they're gonna be on Sabbath, and I want some practicing Orthodox Jews in there to comment on it. So I'm going to wait until Sunday. So I'm going to delay that for a day. But anyways, make sure you're following my co-host. If you want to support what I'm doing, the best way is by subscribing. There's a pink button on my profile. I have a subscriber-only group chat and a subscriber-only after space scheduled after this one. The link is in the Jumbotron. And turn all notifications on for my account, and you won't miss these spaces. I do have something cooking next week. I'm not going to get into the details of it just yet. I will put that out probably Sunday. Go ahead, Coyote.
Nah, man, that's real admirable of you right there to think about that on the Sabbath right there, because you got a lot of the people that attack you too on the evangelical side. They'll be ready to go at it too because they take the Sabbath. And I'm glad I like that tweet that you put out earlier today, man. That's honestly the origin of all this. And it's a rough road. But yeah, man, it's I was going to talk about the identity politics, but I think you already kind of know, and I did. Oh, and Maze, congratulations, she got the nickname the Oprah of Spaces last night. I thought that was pretty kind of cool or whatever. But yeah, man, I'm trying something new. I went to 3 spaces yesterday with different kind of and I mean, you can ask Maze. I had to be very humble as a very loud person yelled about anti-Semitism all around me or whatever. And I just sat there and was quiet because we got a lot of different kinds of people. I guess you could say call themselves conservatives. So I've kind of wrangled it in. I need to get some help with it because it doesn't seem that people want to come and try to like just fucking see if they can talk or whatever. Everybody's so tribal, bro. Like attack and tribal, and it's not. It hasn't been getting anywhere. And a lot of it has to do with some of the stuff that you're in. But yeah, man, it's just different times. I thought I was gonna have something better to say, but I guess I sound as weird as the guys before me now. But yeah, man, I'd appreciate the help tomorrow. Go ahead.
Call me weird.
Disavow,
You're good.
disavow, guys, before you disavow.
Yeah, just joking, man. Kind of.
Me too.
You're good. You're good. Yo. Cool. Let's tap in. I think JD was here, and then we'll go to Liam. Right.
Funky, you got a hot mic. Yeah, go ahead. JD, I'll go.
You got me?
Yep.
It's raining like a son of a bitch. I want to go back to the Charlie Kirk thing. I didn't know this, but you and I had an argument like 9 months ago. I didn't know they repaid.
Damn, you cut out right at a key moment.
I know. Cliffhanger. Come on.
Repay what?
So it went viral the day before yesterday went viral. They repaved the Charlie Kirk assassination crime scene within days of the shooting. He was shot on a Wednesday. They started repaving it on Saturday evening, and the FBI and the governor said they wanted it done by Monday.
That was
how much of a rush they
unbelievable.
were in. That's how much of a rush they were in. Yeah,
They
that came out.
no, they repaved it on Sunday. They were still
Hey.
working on it.
Hey, you got me?
I said they started it on Saturday. Yes, JD, I'll go.
Yeah,
But
sorry, I lost my internet connection. I'm in the middle of nowhere, dude. It's pouring down rain, dude. I don't know if you can hear it.
Yeah, it's fine, bro. Just get back to what you were saying.
So I didn't know that they repaid the stuff until like 2 days ago. And me and you had it out. Like a couple of weeks, I would get on your spaces, and I didn't know that. That was fucking crazy. So the only reason that made me think about that was gunshot residue and/or, gunshot
Evidence.
residue. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I just want to jump
it's
in
a
here
big
to say
one on the list. I mean, it's a big deal, right? When you say,
dude, that's fucking crazy, man. Like that doesn't make sense at all.
Is
Anyway,
this an apology? Is that what I'm sensing here?
nah, I ain't going to apologize to you. You know
No,
what I'm saying?
no.
I thought I heard one.
Don't go there.
Is this a you were right? I feel like it's like
That's what I heard.
I don't know.
JD, don't let them do
it's
that
all
to
right.
you, man.
Just let it happen naturally. It's fine. I feel like you're
I'm letting
working your
go.
way
I'm letting
towards
go.
it. It's okay.
I'm working my way out. All right, hold on. I'm working it out.
It's okay.
No, for real, dude. I had no idea that shit happened. That's fucking bananas. That's fucking crazy.
Well, I think it's been generally known that they repaved it. What's new is they got a guy who was on the crew saying the instructions came from the FBI and the governor.
Yeah, that's the smoking gun, right? The governor and the FBI said they wanted it done. Yeah, exactly.
But wasn't there
ahead,
some
J-Dog. You can
symbolism in the
finish.
old before they repaved it? Did they redo like the style or what? I'll look.
It has no. It was grass. They fucking ripped up all the grass and destroyed it, and then put pavers down and concrete.
I mean, and as far
I
as
have videos. I did a video walkthrough of the whole thing. If you search the term UVU, go to my profile, go to the search, you'll see all the videos I did and the spaces, the video walkthroughs, and you can see all of that shit. I was there. Go ahead. What is that, JD Algo? Go ahead.
I was going to say that as far as Tulsi Gabbard leaving, I think that's legit. Yeah, her husband's fucked up. I would do the same thing if it was me. If my wife was fucking dying.
But apparently they've known for months. Why now?
It must be terminal, Like, why would you want to go to work if your husband or your wife's dying? That part I believe. Now what's concrete fucked up behind her? Fuck. I'm going to hell for that one. My bad.
She seemed on her way out though, kind of. I mean, I don't know. It's in midterms.
So what you're saying is she's gonna be single. Oh, did I say that out loud?
Hey,
That's messed up.
oh,
You're gonna burn for
whoa.
that one, bro.
Yeah.
Too
Not, I
soon.
didn't say it.
Too
You said
soon.
it. You said it, not me. You said that shit.
I just
Anyway,
don't see how they take Tyler Robinson to trial. I've been predicting that for some time. I don't I don't see how that goes to trial. Nope.
I think that I mean he's likely gonna plead, right, Terry?
Yeah, he's either going to plead or they're going to kill his ass. He's going to he'll be suicided. But I hope not. I mean, I hope to hell not. And I think the country a lot of people would get up in arms about it. Hopefully he's safe. But yeah, he'll plead out, and his attorneys will have to be Tyler. They got you under a death penalty thing, man. Let's plead this out but the government's not going to want to try this case. I can't see that.
If only he would have went and ate a big ass burger right after, like
Well,
he did that.
there's some things that right? Yeah, go to Dairy Queen and fucking eating a glizzy and a fucking blizzy.
Yeah, that's what people
Calm as
do
hell
after they
20
kill
minutes later.
somebody. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah, that's exactly what I do. No, look calm as hell ordering a glizzy and a blizzy.
You know what
There
gets
is
me? You know what gets me is the fact that the dogs did not find the gun. The dogs, they had the bomb dogs and the other dogs, and dogs are smart, man, and like everybody says, they can sense that stuff, and there was like nothing ever there until all of a sudden, we get the report that says we found him, we found the weapon, and the dogs found it. Like it's all just like magic. Like it's all kind of like it's all a lie. It feels like a lie, right? And so I mean, maybe I think it's a lie, and it's just like that's that's what gets me is the actual murder weapon is what it comes down to. Is like, was it there? Was it used, or was it planted?
you don't even have to. Was it a 30-06? I mean, like they're gonna have a hard time proving that one alone, right? Because of the nature of the wound and the where it hit, right? They have to prove that this literal, in their own words, miracle bullets that did not leave the body out of one of the largest domestically used, like means like just normal gun, like hunters use projectiles that most people buy, right? Sporting hunt like people use a 30-06 to take down moose and elk. If you don't know what those are, they are fucking giant animals with thick hide, thick muscle tissue, and bone structure, right? Like these are big, heavy animals. They're massive, and people shoot them with a 30-06, and they will blow a hole in the back of the animal the size of a golf ball or larger, right? And so for them to you have to convince a jury that this miracle bullet somehow arced in a perfect angle in a way where it curved down and hit the bone and went straight down his spine until it stopped. Using in bones slowed it down. It didn't they said it fragmented, but none of the fragments went out of the body. Like you have to convince them of that, and I just don't think it's going to happen. There's been teams of individuals who have tried to recreate that shot and have not been able to do it. People who are trying to both prove it and debunk it, and it just professionals, man, they have not been able to do it. I have
You could
five
shoot the
minutes
miracle.
left.
You could shoot the miracle bullet with like a World War I type like rifle if they have. I mean, that's the crazy part to me, bro. Like he snuck it up. I seen you walk up that thing, bro. You can't just sneak stuff in there, even if you break it down.
He
There's
walked
too many
across the
holes.
campus with that thing in his leg, peg legging. There's no fucking way. There's just no way. You
Diligent,
guys,
I wrote you. A lot of people say that in the military side, I told you I had spoken to a ballistics guy in the military, and he said Charlie wore the weapon. That's all he said.
I think it's
Charlie
a mic.
wore it.
go. Yeah, I don't want to get into that right now. I don't want to get into that right now. Let's go to independent and then Liam, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sure. I'll try and be as pointed as possible. I really wanted to talk about Tulsi. That's so okay. So the statement was is that her husband has bone cancer. He, and I'm not saying that he doesn't, right? I don't think anybody can, try and say that she's not telling the truth, because they're not in her house and they ain't in her life like that. So I'm going to assume that her husband does have bone cancer, and that is just absolutely terrible. And I will pray for him and her. But with that being said, I also equally believe that she's leaving for other reasons as well as that, right? So when I go back and I think about the ride of Tussie, it's basically this, a similar ride that I was on. Her car went a lot faster than mine's, obviously, but she was a part of the DNC. In fact, she was a vice chair in the DNC. That was the same time I was, the head of the rules committees for the Michigan Democrats. And then she decided that she was going to support Bernie. And when she did that, the DNC wanted her GOA, which is or GONE, which is gone. So she decided to resign from that position, and I decided to, because I supported Bernie at that point, decided to resign from the position from the head of the Rules Committee. And then, she finally decided to just leave the party altogether. And same thing, right? Now, she was always basically a moderate Democrat at worst. If you want to call it blue dog, if you want to, I call it center right Democrat. And I guess maybe I was too. But in the same aspect, she did do what was, she got on a bunch of podcasts, talked about her positions, and then Trump asked her to be a part of the administration. One of the things that I know as I went to go see her speak while she was campaigning for Donald Trump with JFK in Dearborn. And honestly, the woman is just, I mean, she is whip smart, right? That's one thing that if you hear her speak live, right, you will be able to determine that very quickly. She was telling the policies basically that she, would, I guess you could say the Trump administration, in my opinion, better than he would have, he has. And during this event that was pretty well attended at the Dearborn Library, she got the DNI position, and if you know her history, she has always been very anti-war, especially with Iran, and really pro transparency. Now, this administration, at least we thought they were going to be that way. Everybody did. But in the same aspect, they are not that way, right? They are not very anti-war, and they're definitely not very pro transparency. When Joe Kent left, he I believe that was a precursor to Tussie getting ready to leave eventually, right? She wanted to try and hang in there a little bit longer so she could get, whatever she needed to do in order to try
We all
and
knew
bring
the
out
writing was on the wall when Joe Kent left because they were
exactly,
close.
exactly, to bring out more information for honestly the people, in regards to things like the murder of Martin Luther King, the murder of JFK, and really a lot of this Iran stuff, and also digging in a bit to the Israel, right? Yeah, I'm just saying the Israel. I'll just leave it at that. We all know Laura Loomer couldn't stand her because of that, even though Laura Loomer have never ever served a day in combat, and Tulsi did, which is interesting, by the way. And so we're now at a point that she has said that she's going to resign. She's going to resign by June 30th, which gives her, give or take, a little less than 5 weeks. I do believe that she's going to send out information, but it also is an infection point, in my opinion, of the Trump administration. If there was nothing else that told me that that Trump and the administration has went past the arc, it is Tulsi Gabbard resigning today. I can't think of someone else that literally in that administration that, yes, she was a former Democrat, but when she does things like intelligence, she looks at the facts, period, right? The facts and nothing but. And so that's why she was so good against Kamala in that debate. And so, with that being said, they're way past the arc. I'm really sad that she's leaving, but I do understand, like you said, she probably has a personal issue that she's on with her husband. But in the same aspect, I think she was also ushered out the door, and I think our nation is going to be worse off as a result because she's gone. And that's pretty much all I had to say.
Thank you, Independent. And
I
it's
want to hear what Joe Kent says.
Liam has his hand
I
up.
do too, and I'm sure she's going to do a podcast. I want to hear what she says. I'm eager to see what she says. I wonder who's going to. If I had to guess, Tucker helps her with her podcast. I think you'll see her on Tucker first. I guarantee it. You'll
That
see her on
makes
Tucker
sense.
first.
Oh wow.
Yep. Liam, go ahead.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yeah. Yep.
I don't want to get into anything political tonight. I just wanted to pop in to see if you guys knew anything about what's going on in Iran right now, because it seems like Trump rushed back to the White House for something big. Do you guys know any information?
Let me see if I can get an update for you.
I was Googling, I can't find anything, but I know that the air traffic around Iran has drastically changed tonight. So
Yeah, they shut down the airspace and they also jammed all the radar, so it looked like that maybe something was getting ready to happen.
you think they're going to target Hormuz?
I don't know. Grok, can you give us an update with the Iran situation? ScanX.
The ceasefire from early April is technically holding,
Oh,
but it's extremely shaky. Talks mediated by Pakistan and Qatar are ongoing, but both sides are far apart. Iran just downplayed any near-term deal, saying U.S. demands are too extreme. Trump met with his national security team yesterday, weighing next steps, and there's fresh chatter that he called off a planned strike at the request of Gulf states. On the ground, Iran's tightened its grip on the Strait of Hormuz, only letting a few Chinese tankers through, and closed its airspace again. Both sides are using the pause to regroup. It's a tense standoff, not active shooting right
Grok,
now.
Can you scan for the latest up to the minute? Given Trump went back to D.C. and skipped his son's wedding, and radars jammed, and the flights, it's a no-fly zone right now. They've closed the airspace. Can you check all that?
Latest on Iran as of right now. Trump just announced he's skipping Don Jr.'s wedding this weekend and staying in D.C. because of circumstances pertaining to government. He cited the Iran situation specifically as bad timing. Iran's airspace remains closed to most commercial traffic. That's been the case since the February strikes, and it's still in effect. Multiple countries have issued warnings advising airlines to avoid it entirely. On the ground, the April ceasefire is still barely holding. Talks are ongoing with some progress reported on narrowing gaps, but the Strait of Hormuz is the big sticking point. Iran is actively enforcing control there, charging tolls, coordinating which ships get through, and only letting a trickle of tankers pass, mostly to China. The IRGC is basically running a protection racket on the waterway. No confirmed reports of radars being jammed in DC or anything like that popping up in the last few hours. The situation is tense, but not actively shooting at the moment. One wrong move and it could reignite fast.
Hey,
Do you have any?
have y'all
Yeah.
have y'all
Hold
ever?
on.
Oh,
Let Liam respond. Liam, do you have any?
No, that's a good update. I should have just asked Grok.
Dan
ask
Scavino,
ask
just so you know,
ask
Liam, and this, oh, I was just going to say, you can ask him just a second. Dan Scavino just dropped a photo of a B-2 bomber, and I guess that's like his former, what is it, advisor? Not advisor. But anyway, so he's kind
It
of
was
putting hints out there that something's going on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that Iran was going to start demanding Bitcoin as ransom for passage through the Strait of Hormuz. Ask Grok what that might do to the price of Bitcoin.
That sounds like some pump shit. Grok, is there any traction to?
I
It
don't
does.
own any Bitcoin.
It really does, because didn't one of the billionaires sold all of his Bitcoin last night, right?
Mark Cuban sold a bunch.
Yep. Mark Cuban sold all of his
What?
Bitcoin, so they were all freaking out about it this morning. Yep.
Yeah,
Grok,
right
is there
after he got
any
out of a White House meeting.
Grok, is there any basis to the IRGC demanding Bitcoin as ransom, or is that just some pump shit? And what's it going to do to the market if they do?
Love the sound effect.
It's real, not pumped shit. Back in early April, when the ceasefire started, Iran straight up said ships passing through the Strait of Hormuz would have to pay a toll in cryptocurrency. They specifically mentioned Bitcoin. It's basically the IRGC running a protection racket on one of the world's most important oil choke points. They've been doing this for weeks. Some ships are paying, a lot of companies are avoiding the route entirely, and there's even scammers pretending to be the IRGC trying to shake people down for Bitcoin too. As for the market impact, if this ramps up and more oil gets disrupted, it could actually be bullish for Bitcoin long term because it proves demand for something governments can't easily seize. Short term, though, it's just adding to the chaos. Mark Cuban selling his Bitcoin is unrelated. He said it didn't act like a hedge during the Iran mess.
Go ahead, Liam, if you want to respond, and then we'll go to Coyote, and then we'll.
No, that's good. Thanks for all the information, guys. I got to dip out, but
No
thanks for
problem.
letting me. Thanks for letting me speak diligent. Catch you guys later.
Yep. See ya. Go ahead,
That's
Coyote.
suspicious, though, don't you think? I think
Yeah,
that's
it's
suspicious.
very weird right there. It's just not typical. Hey, did y'all know this
Yeah,
though?
keep it.
I looked it up the other day. The Yom Kippur War in 1973. I was looking at the economics on the war. I mean, on the
It
oil
was
or
83,
whatever.
right? Or it was 73,
No,
73.
73. Yeah. It was 50 years and 1 day later was October 7th because the Yom Kippur War was October 6th and October 7th. But anyway, they had the same intelligence failure and they in the oil. It's like the economics after. You should do like a grok comparison one day, man. It's a lot of the things that we're kind of seeing now. It maybe happened like a little bit differently, but it involved
Because they
oil.
put an oil embargo out. They stopped, the embargo was like it wasn't because of like the bombing and stuff like that. But yeah, there was an oil embargo. You're talking about when John Pollard was also saying that they were gonna, that's when they threatened the United States.
No, it's 50, the math of it. I did the odds or whatever. It's like the math 50 years later, 50 years 1 day later, they did the same thing. They knew that that they were coming to attack on the Syrians and the Jordan or whatever, and they didn't do anything because they basically just let some people take a licking so they could get the United States in there. And they talk about it freely in Israel, but we don't over here. I don't know why. It's just very odd.
Well, you know what's interesting though? It's kind of it's almost not like a war, like about somebody attacking the United States, or it's not us, trying to go and accomplish a mission. It really does come down to money, and that the oil markets are moving, and there's some behind the scenes. You look at Intel. Go to look at Intel's stock price. Go look at um, what's the other one? But there's a few of them, and it's all about money. That is the reason that um, Kushner told Trump, "Let's do this," and there's a reason that they all have been, multiplying um, their net worth. And to me, that's what it's about. So is it going to end? But is it going to end soon? I mean, we don't know. And and we here we have our troops, and we have human beings right out
Yeah,
there.
it's gonna end soon. I gotta go. Fuck you. I was just wrapping up the space. I appreciate you adding that.
All right,
Um,
brother.
uh, yep, it's all right. It's all right. No, we don't know when it's gonna end. It could get worse. It could get better. It's deteriorating. So I would argue, Scavino, who I've met, is one of the insider Trump people, right? Like he's in the know. If he's signaling a B-2 bomber, um, he's a part of that little network. It's probably going to happen, right? So, and all of the other things are alluding to it. We see the pre-narrative staging with this guy who Snapchat out. He Snapchat out a threat to president's daughter, and they're saying that is reason to it looks like it's preemptive narrative to start the war, right? Along with some other things. So yeah, who knows what's going to happen? Go ahead, Sally.
Guy, I just want to say what an amazing space. I've been listening while I've been gardening all night long. I haven't been able to talk, but you guys covered everything and asked questions I would have asked. Guys, make sure you're following Diligent. Turn on notifications for his account because when you cover the topics that he talks about, they have a tendency to suppress you. So subscribe to him and turn on notifications and go to his page and share out his content. And I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you.
Thank
Why
you.
was
And
he
then
gardening at night? I'm sorry.
thank
I'll
you,
see you tomorrow,
Sally.
Sally.
And then go share and like the YouTube channel. Share that with your normie friends so they can listen to the conversation if they're not on Next. All right, we're going to listen to some music, and then we'll go over to the subscriber space. The link for the subscriber space is up in the Jumbotron. If you want to support what I'm doing, that's the best way to subscribe. Turn all notifications on for my account so you don't miss these great spaces or when I cover Charlie Kirk or Epstein or other stuff that we cover. Definitely my pin post, the timeline for Tyler Robinson. How did he send those texts if he was in police custody? It's a good question. Think about it. I will see you guys in a minute over at the subspace.
He don't talk unless the proof is in the lines. Receipts in the folder, coded truth in these rhymes. Power play, chess moving pawns through the blind. But a diligent denizen sees designs in the sign.